Welcome to pregame on the Norfolk News Broadcast Network. Lutheran High Northeast hosts Ainsworth tonight at Veterans Memorial Park in a game that could feature plenty of storylines. Probably the most important one for both teams is tonight opens Class C2 District 5 competition, and both teams will see district opponents the rest of the season. Any coach will tell you it's imperative to get off to a good start in district play by winning the first game. For the visitors from Ainsworth, it's a chance to get back on the winning track. The Bulldogs are 2-2, and last week they lost 29-0 to Arcadia Loop City to snap what was a 2-game win streak. That is notable for Ainsworth because, as Norfolk Daily News writer Tom Beamer pointed out last week, it was their first 2-game winning streak since 1999 and the first time they won 2 games in a season since 2000. For Lutheran High Northeast, it's homecoming night. The last time the Eagles were at Veterans Memorial Park, they were off to a 2-0 start. 2 weeks ago, Lutheran High Northeast suffered a 41-6 loss at defending state champion David City Aquinas. They got back on track last week with a balanced rushing attack that led to a 65-12 bashing of Laurel Concord Coleridge. With that, we are now joined by Lutheran High Northeast coach Darren Suxdorf on the Norfolk News Broadcast Network pregame show. Well, Coach, first of all, you guys are 3-1 entering this game. Where do you feel like the team is at this point of the season?
Well, as a coach, I think you hope that you're improving each week. And I think we improved from our loss to David City Aquinas. I think it was a good measuring stick for us. And it's hard to tell. I know the talent level we have, I do think we can be a little more competitive we showed against David City Aquinas. So we challenged the kids, and I think we had our best week of practice. And so far, I think it was one of our best games we've had against Laurel. One of our goals is we're going to try to keep improving, be 1-0 each week. And if we can continue to do that, I'm going to like where our team's at by the end of the year.
Talk about last week's big win at Laurel Concord Coleridge. You guys won 65-12 and really had a balanced rushing attack. What clicked for you guys that night?
Well, I really do think our defense played really, really well. They got a talented quarterback in Wolf Graham, and Coach Chad does a good job of using him. So that was kind of the game plan, and we had to kind of leave our guys on islands at times to make sure we kept him contained. And I think our defensive coaches did a great job of preparing our kids, and the kids did a great job of listening to the coach team, watching film, and put a good weekend of practice so we can execute on the game. Again, I got to feel as the defense, they set the offense up a lot for great scoring positions, and our offensive line and our backs were motivated to run hard. And I think it showed a lot watching film on Friday.
What will be the key when you guys face Ainsworth?
Well, again, we're going to see if we can improve from the Laurel game. There's a few mistakes that we had schematic-wise, and we can continue to get better, fix those little things. That's what we're going to be looking for. We try to worry about each play, and then hopefully by the end the scoreboard will take care of itself. If we can continue to do that on Friday, I think good things will happen.
Talk about your rushing attack. Hunter Spire is averaging over 141 yards a game through 4 games. He's on pace for over 1,000 yards, but you have 2 other guys who are already over 200 yards rushing on this season.
Well, we have to be balanced because we're on balanced line. So if teams do shift over, we have to have our weak side running game and our middle running game going well. A lot of times our quarterback is in charge of kind of taking care of the middle, and our Z-back, our wing back, is kind of in charge for our weak game. We have to be able to do both, otherwise we're not going to do very good. So we got to be able to run to the strong side, unbalanced side, and then up the middle also. And so far we've done a great job of taking what the defense gives us and earning those extra hard yards. We got some great athletic skills, I think. Hunter Spear, like you said, is running really hard. Phil Kirby and Riley Berner kind of our Z spot, and Philip will play some eye back also. They have to be, running the weak side and it's a little bit different, but they do a good job of doing that. And up the middle, we got our fullback is getting a few more carries each game. Lee Gravy, he's a 210-pound kid that can run people over and fall forward for extra yards. And Aiden's done a great job of commanding the offense. He's got to be able to run and throw and block. As a quarterback, he's done a great job so far.
Talk about the season that Aiden has had at quarterback. I mean, he's completing 76% of his passes. You guys don't throw the ball a lot, but how has he been able to fit into the mix?
Well, I think he got some playing time last year and really had a good feel of what his strengths were going into the season. And we packaged our passing game kind of around that. He's very good accuracy-wise in a short game, which has really helped our receivers get some extra yards after the catch. and he's done a great job of finding the open receiver, play action. Yes, he's responsible for a lot of our play action passes, and he does a good job of selling the run and make sure everything looks like a run so we can get guys open in the secondary. So he's just really developed as a leader, and in his accuracy also in the offseason. I think it's shown so far this season.
Defensively, what would be the key against Ainsworth?
Ainsworth is kind of a spread team. I wouldn't call them spread. They're kind of a wing feed spread team. They run a lot of the jet series, fly series, and they'll run the guard, pull back underneath of it with a guard play and a trap play. And then they look to hit you on play action. So you got to be very disciplined in your keys. And defensively, I thought we made the biggest jump, from week 2 to week 3. So if we can make another jump this week with our defense, I'm going to feel comfortable where we're sitting going into kind of our meat of our schedule here.
Last thing, Coach, it's homecoming week. There's always a concern about distractions. How have your kids handled that maybe a little bit of extra attention so far?
Yeah, that's a good question. Every year you go through this, you're wondering if you can keep the kids focused. And every year you question yourself going into the game if you did everything right. And then sometimes it doesn't go right. And then maybe some years you don't think it went well and the game turned out great on Friday. So I'm not sure if I have the answers. I do know the kids have had a pretty good week of practice. And hopefully they're prepared, and we'll find out Friday if the distractions got to them or not.
Thank you very much, Coach, for your time.
Yep, thank you for coverage.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are looking live at Veterans Memorial Park here in Norfolk, Nebraska. Lutheran High Northeast hosting Ainsworth on homecoming night. I am Nick Bench. Joined alongside me is Josh Spanger. Josh, I gotta tell you, Lutheran High Northeast comes in here with a 3-1 record, and it's because of their rushing attack. Hunter Spear, the junior running back, 565 yards already on the season. He's averaging 8.6 yards a carry. Tell just a little bit about this rushing attack for Lutheran High Northeast. Got quite a few kids in the stable that they throw at running back, and got a lot of kids that run the football for them.
I think they're off to a great start this year. Their running attack, like you said, is very strong. They run an offset line, which I think plays a big factor for their power and their speed. You get them into the secondary, you can kiss it goodbye because they're just not going to keep up with this running game.
As we mentioned, Hunter Spear averaging 8.6 yards a carry. Also, Philip Kirby, who starts in the Z-back spot for Coach Darren Sucksdorf, he averages 8.3 yards a carry. He has a gain of 47 yards on the year. He has 3 touchdowns. Spear already has 7 touchdowns on the season, averaging over 141 yards a game. And for Ainsworth, they're a little bit of a surprise team so far this season. Nobody really knows what to expect out of them. They're 2-2 on the year, which is one of their best starts this century, which granted isn't the largest sample size, but still that's pretty remarkable. What's it going to take for Ainsworth tonight?
I think it's going to take a fast secondary. That secondary is going to have to step up as soon as that line breaks through. That secondary has to step up, make a stop, clean tackles. Their offense has got to get going early. If they don't get going early, it's just not going to be a good night for them. As we were talking earlier before the game, this is their first 2-win season in the last decade, I think you told me. So, they really have to come out with a fierce offense and hope that secondary on the defense steps up tonight.
Let's run through the starters for Lutheran High Northeast. The quarterback is number 3, Aiden Wiederin. He's a 6', 160-pound senior. Fullback is number 42, Lee Grebe, a 6'1", 210-pound senior. And when you talk with Coach Darren Sucksdorf, he said that's kind of an X factor over the last couple of weeks for the Eagles.
Yes, it is. When you have, big guys like that, 6'5", 10, 6'1", 200 pounds, you got leaders. That's the first thing that steps out to me when I look at a piece of paper and it says 6'1", 210 pounds. You got a leader right there out on the field. That alone should set the tone.
The I-back is Hunter Spear, the 5'10", 160-pound junior that we've already talked about here this evening. Lutheran High Northeast runs a little bit of an odd set. They have a Z-back, Philip Kirby, number 2. He's a 5'7", 150-pound senior. The X-receiver is number 20, Ryan Brand, a 6', 170-pound senior. The tight end is number 10, Andy Zesson. He's a 6'1", 175-pound senior. A lot of experience for Lutheran High at the skill positions.
Absolutely. That's going to be a huge factor. I haven't got the chance to look at Ainsworth's lineup, but that experience is going to play huge roles late in the game. When Ainsworth is tired and their defense is slowing down, that experience is going to step up and it's going to put points on the board late.
For Lutheran High Northeast offensively, 4 starters on the offensive line are seniors, including Reed Schaefer is 6', 255-pounder. Josh Lota, number 51, a 6'1", 210-pounder. John Freidenberg, 6'1", 200 pounds. And Blaze White, 6'1", 160. And the only one that isn't a senior, Seth Knapp, 5'10", 250, is a center for Lutheran High on offense. That's quite a bit of beef, even for Class C2 to have up front.
I couldn't agree more.
Defensively, 3 middle linebackers for Lutheran High. Number 57, John Freidenberg, Lee Grebe, and Andy Zessen are 3 middle linebackers listed by Coach Darren Suckstorf. 2 defensive ends, number 76, Reed Schaefer, number 72, Seth Knapp. Defensive tackle, number 61, Blaze White. And another outside linebacker, number 20, Ryan Brand. You were talking about the secondary for Ainsworth. Lutheran High with a lot of experience over there as well. The 2 safeties, number 2, Philip Kirby, number 3, Aiden Wiederin. Those are both a couple of seniors. Hunter Spear plays one cornerback. Tyler Bates, a 5'7", 150-pound senior, is the other corner, number 44. Ainsworth is going to lean quite heavily on the running game. Jacob Furnow averages 4.8 yards a carry. He's up to 343 yards on the season. Wyatt Killian, 187 yards on the season. He averages 6 yards a carry. And Dominic Henry has 141 yards on the season. He averages 5.6 yards a carry.
It definitely helps when you have, more than one person that can step in and give somebody some fresh legs.
And Ainsworth starts a sophomore quarterback, number 18, Peyton Allen. The sophomore is 18 of 45 passing, which only leads to a 40% completion clip, and not the greatest quarterback rating at 38.4, but still, when you can throw for over 200 yards so far in 4 games, not terribly bad at this level.
That's not horrible. Like you said, they may rely on that run game a little more tonight just to slow the pace of the game down, but I wouldn't be surprised if they try something deep.
Their top receivers, Riggin Temple, has 9 catches for 133 yards. Averages only 33 yards a game, but you never know when those 33 or so yards can come. That can be a real key. And Wyatt Killian, he has 9 catches on the year for 84 yards on the season. Dominic Henry, 141 rushing yards, and he's also back there on kicks as well, along with Wyatt Killian already has 138 yards in kick returns, 88 yards in punt returns. Look for him to be the main guy back there who they want to get the ball in the hands of here this evening. And defensively for Ainsworth, you have Ben Allen, who has 25 solo tackles already on the season, 55 total tackles. That's pretty good for anybody. Ben Allen is a special athlete too, especially if you watch him in track. He's one of the better throwers in Northeast Nebraska as well.
I think he will play a key part in tonight's game. Keep an eye on him.
Kyler Ertham has 26 total tackles on the year. Blake Shipwright has 20, and Jace Beck has 16 more. Peyton Allen with 21 total tackles also on the season. Lutheran High Northeast comes into this game with a 3-1 record. Talked about it in pregame a little bit. Bears mentioning again, they won their first 2 games and really got up to a nice start, but then they ran into that buzzsaw that is David City Aquinas. Lost to them 41-6 on the road, but man, rebounded nicely. Helps when you score 65 points at Laurel Concord Coleridge. They average 50 points a game in their 3 wins. I mean, that's a pretty explosive offense.
That's a huge number.
And it says quite a bit when your points per game average on the season is 39.5, but in your 3 wins, 3 of your 4 games, you're averaging 50 points a game.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we're talking about. When the run game, when your run game's working, you stick to it, and you end up with 50.6 points per game. I mean, that's just the way it works in football.
And on the flip side, Ainsworth, I think you mentioned this earlier, it's going to play into their hands to try to slow this game down. They only average 16.25 points a game. In their 2 wins, they averaged 29.5, but in their 2 losses, they only averaged 3 points a game. Their 2 losses, they lost to Ainsworth on opening night 27-6, and then last week lost 29-0 to Arcadia Loop City. So that number even is a little bit skewed at this point of the year. Be interesting to see how that transpires with the more data that you get over the course of the season.
I couldn't agree more. It's just like you said, they have to find a way to slow this game down. If they don't slow this game down, it could get ugly really fast.
And that's, I think, going to play right into the mindset for Ainsworth here this evening. We're going to take a quick break here for the national anthem, and while teams are introduced here at Veterans Memorial Park. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Veterans Memorial Park here in Norfolk, Nebraska for tonight's game between Lutheran High Northeast and Ainsworth here at Memorial Park. Lutheran High Northeast comes into this evening 3-1 on the year. They have a 43-14 win over Ponca, a 44-30 win over Wisner-Pilger. The last two games have been on the road. They lost to Aquinas Catholic 41-6 and defeated Laurel Concord Coleridge 65-12 last week. Ainsworth comes into this evening 2-2 on the year. They opened the season with a loss at Valentine 27-6, responded by beating Centura on the road 24-20, and Ravenna in their home opener 35-8. Last week they lost to Arcadia Loop City 29-0, putting them at 2-2 on the season. Hunter Spire, the main man back for Lutheran High Northeast, is Ainsworth is lined up to kick off. They'll be moving from left to right on your screen. The kick is up and away. Philip Kirby there on the return for Lutheran High. Didn't get a whole lot going as the ball went to the up back there. Lutheran High will line up. Looks like it'll be about their own 32-yard line to start things off.
I love the effort right off the bat by Lutheran High. I mean, they're coming out what looks like slow, but I mean, I think that's kind of to lull Ainsworth to sleep.
Aiden Weeder, the quarterback, back in the gun. Spire goes back. Weeder steps up, throws quick slant over the middle to Ryan Brand. That'll move him to the 45, first down on the first play there. Nice start there for Lutheran High.
It's just like we said earlier, that secondary's got to step up, make those big plays right there. They just didn't get the job done.
Weeder back in the gun here. Second play of the game, 1st and 10 at the 40, their own 45. Now that was a direct snap to Spear. Gets around and across midfield, but he looks like he's shaking up there on the end of that run.
So something like that, it's unfortunate to see this early in the game, to see somebody go down, especially on something like that. You know, you never want to see somebody go down, but you hope the best for them.
Hard to tell exactly what happened, if it was just a ball catching him right in the stomach and knocking the wind out, or if there's a little bit more there. Looks like he's being helped up off the turf.
It's always a good sign when he can walk off on his own power.
And that's a big blow for Lutheran High. That's their best running back there, Hunter Spear. He has 565 yards rushing on the year, averages 8.6 yards a carry. Tough loss, at least in the short term here for Lutheran High. Wiedern with the direct snap there. Excuse me, that's Philip Kirby there, and he's down after hitting the turf here at Memorial Field.
This is not looking good for Darren Sucksdorf. You know, if you're Darren right now, you got to be saying, hey, this is gut check time, guys. You know, we saw this coming. You just got to step up, you know.
Well, and the nice thing for Lutheran High is they've got a stable of running backs. Of course, it hurts whenever your top two rushers are out of a game, especially this early. And now we see number 44, Tyler Bates, a 5'8", 145-pound senior, check into the ball game. He's listed as a receiver, but makes you wonder with what's happened so far at running back if they're going to look at maybe him in this situation to carry the ball.
You know, I with me being recently released from football, I mean, I understand the struggle. We were from 8-man, and trust me, I know the struggle. When you were put in the game, you played just about anywhere. So it's hopefully the case here that he knows multiple positions. It's good to have guys like that.
Well, and as soon as we mentioned that, he comes back out of the game, and Instead, Hunter Spear comes back in. So good news for Lutheran High, bad news for them here, early going. The good news is Hunter Spear was shaken up, but he's already back in the huddle. The bad news is you're without Philip Kirby, your 5'7", 150-pound senior, who's your starting Z-back. And Z-back for them is a very multiple position. The way Coach Suckstorf described it to me, it's kind of their slot version of the slot back, where it's a guy who can line up in several different spots.
All right.
And you can see already with the formations that Lutheran High uses that's a position where kids are going to go all over the place.
Yeah, it definitely hurts when you have a guy that's averaging 8.3 yards per carry and he's taken out of the game.
Players are checking their wristbands, and it looks like we're about ready to go again here. And this time it'll be Weeder in the lone back here. He fakes the handoff on the jet sweep. He's being chased there, and he's going to take off and run with it himself, and he's going to lose yards there. Good pursuit there by Ainsworth, led by none other than Ben Allen, their leading tackler on the season. And Wiederin loses, I think, about 3 yards, we're going to call it, for second and, I believe they're going to say that's second and 12. Second and probably a long 12 here for Lutheran High here at the Ainsworth 45. So good field position here, 10:25 in the first quarter. And direct snap there to Spear. He takes off around the near side, spinning out of a tackler down to the 45. Nice run there by Spear, showing no effects of whatever ailment he had just a few minutes ago. Very quickly now, 3rd and 2. Very favorable field position here. You like this down and distance if you're a coach.
Absolutely. 3rd and 3, and you've got a running attack that's strong as can be. You're betting all your chips on something like this.
This time it looks like Spear is the main back here, and it looks like he's going to take the snap. He does. Direct snap runs right up the middle, and it looks like he might have enough for the first down there.
Looks like they're going to give it to him. I love the effort right there. He really just buried his head. He knew what he had to get, and that's all he was focused on, was getting those 3 yards. That's really all football's about. You focus on short goals, you get those goals, you move on.
Wiederin is back as in at the quarterback spot here for Lutheran High. Not that he went out, but it looks like he's under center this time. And instead they snap it over to Spear, who hands it off. Nothing doing there on that little bit of a jet sweep look there. And that looks like it was Riley Berner there on the carry, number 24 for Lutheran High. He lost 4 there though. 2nd and 14 now from the 35. 9 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Still no score. This is still the first drive of the game. Doesn't seem like it, but Lutheran High has already chewed up 3 minutes of this game.
Yeah, I thought Ainsworth would be the one to eat up the clock, but right now Lutheran High getting it done.
Very high tackle there, and the flag comes in on Hunter Spear. Hunter Spear with another tough run there, and I think the flag is going to be on Ben Allen, the Ainsworth senior. Personal foul, face mask is the call. And I believe because of the penalty, Spear should not have to come out for a play here, which, again, helps Lutheran High. You can see already how much the offense has gone through him here this evening. Absolutely.
I think that was a great call. He was way, way too high. I was surprised the flag came out as late as it did, actually. Good effort.
And the thing is, it wasn't like the flag came out late either. I mean, it was maybe a couple moments notice, but still.
Yeah, definitely.
Wiederin gets the call from Suckstorf, and let's see how they line up here on this play. Looks like Wiederin will be the one taking the snap. He does, hands it off to Berner, spins around, and he goes down inside the 15-yard line of Ainsworth. And just when you think that Ainsworth isn't getting enough of Hunter Spear, they go ahead and hit you with Riley Berner coming on the outside. No game, but still gives Ainsworth just another look to prepare for.
Yeah, I think the good thing about this that I should have pointed out later, the run game for Lutheran High will open up play action definitely late in the game, and it'll bring big plays.
Wiederin rolls out, and he throws. Intercepted in the end zone by Ainsworth. Interception
It's just like we said in pregame. That secondary's got to make big plays. Boom, right there. Perfect example of it. You get a secondary player that gets an interception and gets momentum in Ainsworth's hands.
Regan Temple, the 6'1", 150-pound junior, steps up with the big play for the Bulldogs. And you talk about squashing momentum early. That was a drive that took up over 4 minutes by Lutheran High, and they get nothing out of it.
You're talking almost a 60-yard, 70-yard drive, and they just took the wins right out of Lutheran's high sails.
Peyton Allen, the quarterback, hands off on the first play for the Bulldogs. And that'll be Wyatt Killian, the senior running back. You're going to see a lot of Wyatt Killian, I think, this evening, along with Jacob Furno. I think those two are really going to be the backs that the Bulldogs go to early and often this evening.
I couldn't agree more. You know, these are your two highlighted backs. They're getting the job done early in the season. Who else would you count on other than those two?
Only one. Looks like no gain on that first play there for Killian. Peyton Allen takes a snap, hands off up the middle this time. And that time it was Jacob Furno on the carry. That'll be a 5-yard gain. Hard to tell a little bit up here with the numbers on the running backs. Ainsworth using a little bit of a tight set here in the early going. But that was Jacob Furno on the carry. Nice 5-yard gain. Just looked like a little squirter up the middle almost. Allen, the quarterback, single set back, hands off again this time, and he is stuffed.
Wow. One thing that I noticed on that last play, they filled the box. There was 9 guys in the box right there. And you have to switch something. You have to change your game plan, something. If they're going to put 9 guys in the box, start throwing the ball.
That is a case of game plan. That's a case of watching film, knowing what Ainsworth is going to run in the early goings of the game. Riley Berner lined up back for the punt, partially blocked almost. Berner picks up at the 39. Gets past a couple of tacklers, gets past another one. Cross midfield to the 45. Nice return there by Riley Berner. Didn't show off, burning speed or anything like that, but still, just like he kind of sliced and diced his way to look like a 16-yard return there for Lutheran High. Give them great field position again.
Yeah, Berner's slow to get up after a huge hit from the defense. I mean, these guys they may be, a little undersized, but they're a hard-hitting team.
And it's obvious, at least as of right now, Lutheran High is going to have to win this game with physicality if they're going to do it.
I agree.
Tight set here for Lutheran High. And Hunter Spear there with the drag snap. He only gets maybe one at the most, I think, there. Second down, and it'll be 9 for Lutheran High. Good news is they're inside the 45. Bad news, not quite as much as you'd like on first down.
Unfortunately, that's a true case, but they're running a lot of traps, they're running a lot of sweeps, and it's getting yards, and, that's going to play a huge factor late in the game when Ainsworth defense is tired and your front line's getting it done up front.
Lutheran High is a habit isn't huddling much. Weeder and back there in the pistol set. And you had Caleb Rath there in motion, but the run up the middle gets nothing there for Lutheran High.
See, this is where I think the play action will come into account, because you're looking at 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. Why not try it?
Probably going to have to look at something like that here with the 3rd and long situation. Obviously not what Darren Suxdorf was looking for here this early in the game. Weeder back in the shotgun. He takes a snap, rolls to his right, throws, complete. Caleb Rath with the catch, the 5'10", 150-pound junior for Lutheran High, but I think he's going to be well short of the first down. There is beautiful open field tackle, and not much doing there for Lutheran High on that possession. Going to have Ryan Brandt step in to punt for the Eagles here. 4:54 left here in the opening quarter. Still no score. 3 and out here for Lutheran High after a really nice drive, their first possession. Calling for the fair catch, but it's fumbled, and looked like Lutheran High might have got it and they do. Lutheran High with the fumble recovery on the muff punt there by Ainsworth.
Mike Killian, I mean, he waved for a fair catch and then just muffed it. If you get, an opportunity like that, you have to take advantage of it. Don't even worry about anything else. That is huge for Lutheran High right now.
First big break of the game goes the way of Lutheran High. And actually, really, the second big break. The first one was the interception on the first drive, but this time, Lutheran High in business at about the 17-yard line of Ainsworth. Spear with the first carry of this possession, nothing doing there. A lot of tough sledding here for Lutheran High in the early going, but like you said, what you're hoping to do is set up that play action maybe for later in the game. So far, though, Lutheran High hasn't really been able to get a lot going running the ball. A lot of, if anything, maybe a 10, 12-yard chunk here and there. But huge turnover there to set up this possession. Second down and 11 at the 17 for Lutheran High. Wiedering steps back, looks, throws complete. And that's a touchdown! Touchdown, Lutheran High! That was Andy Zesson, the 5'11", 170-pound tight end. Nice little flat route to get past the defender. Wiedering with a pinpoint pass just past the defense's outstretched arms. And that'll be the first 6 points of the game coming with 4 minutes, 3 seconds left here in the opening quarter.
That's exactly what we're talking about. I mean, the speed, the physicality of Lutheran High finally showed right there on that last play. They're not selling anything spectacular. The Ainsworth secondary has to find what they're looking for, and that was not it. There were so many holes.
Penalty looks like offsides against Ainsworth here on the extra point try, so Lutheran High will get a little added bonus by having a point after about 1.5 yards closer here. And now they throw the PATT off to the side, so now I'm wondering if Lutheran High is going to just go for 2 here in this situation. Wiedering lines up shotgun formation here. He runs off and he cuts up the field. Easy 2-point conversion. Lutheran High, 8-0 here over Ainsworth.
That was a beautiful read off of the cut. There was nowhere around. I mean, I'm in complete awe that he found such a huge hole right there.
And it looked like it was scripted to go about like that. I mean, lineman blocked that play perfectly.
Gorgeous.
And honestly, you get a play that's blocked that nicely, you go to that well often and very often.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
And going back to that touchdown play, it looked like the exact same play that Lutheran High had run earlier on the drive previously, only they flipped it to the other side. And Zesson run just a beautiful little route out off the line of scrimmage, and really not a whole lot that Ainsworth could do once he got the ball. And it was green, nothing but green really in front of him there.
I agree. I love everything about Lutheran High right now. They're running traps, they're running sweeps, they're running direct snaps, they're blocking. I mean, what more could you want if you're Sucksdorf right now?
And it'll be Hunter Spear back to kick for Lutheran High, makes the count, and we're just about ready to kick this sucker off. 4 minutes, 3 seconds here in the opening quarter. Lutheran High with the 8-0 lead over Ainsworth here at Veterans Memorial Park in Norfolk. Spear kicks it off and away. And it'll be the up back, Jacob Furno with the ball. And he breaks through a couple tacklers all the way to the 45. Ran over a couple of Eagles along the way. Physical kickoff return there by the up back, Jacob Furno.
You've got to give Ainsworth some respect. Like I said earlier, this is their first 2-win season in the last decade. They are not playing like a 2-win team right now. They look really well for a 2-win team.
And granted, it's early in the season to call them a 2-win team, but for Ainsworth and what they've done, over the last decade. Now Peyton Allen in the shotgun fumbles a snap. He's going to be corralled. Ball bounces away again, and I think Ainsworth got back on it.
I think you were right, and it will be Furno who picks it up, and, great read, perfect place, perfect time.
Really big break for Ainsworth because Granted, yeah, you're looking at a 2nd and long situation here, probably about 2nd and 21, 2nd and 22 in that neighborhood. But that's a lot better than turning it over again to Lutheran High in your own territory already. Peyton Allen looks to throw. He does. Got Riggin Temple there, but the pass is incomplete. Bounced away from Riggin Temple. Looked like he had Temple there on this kind of a slant route there, cutting across the middle, and it would have been probably a good 12, 15-yard gain there. That would have been something to really get Ainsworth back into business.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we were saying earlier that Ainsworth is a running team, but if they can throw like that and they can get guys open, why not?
And this time, 3rd and long, Allen will take the snap direct under center, slides, and he is sacked.
That right there is a play that makes coaches pull their hair out.
Andy Zesson would get credit for the big sack there for Lutheran High, and it'll be 4th and darn near a mile. It's about 4th and halfway to Skyview from here for Ainsworth. This is, yeah, they're just going to have to line up and punt this away. There are times where you have to say, okay, we just got to punt it away. And 4th and 37 is that time. Nearly blocked there by Lutheran High. Riley Berner there on the return. And it took a couple of them to shoestring tackle him there. Lutheran High Northeast, great field position once again. They'll start inside the Ainsworth 45 for the 2nd straight possession. And really, this whole quarter has been played on the Ainsworth side of the 50.
Yeah, I mean, it really has. Lutheran High is playing some fantastic football right now. They're running on all cylinders.
Really, you take away one interception there at the end of that first drive, and outside of that, Lutheran High has played really flawless football. And not just offensively, defensively, they've really brought it too. Ainsworth has 2 3-and-outs to their name, and they went backwards 27 yards that last possession. Wiederin with the throw, caught that time. Nice catch there by Tyler Bates. That'll be another 1st down for Lutheran High. Wiederin with some nice passes here so far this evening. We mentioned earlier in the pregame, Aiden Wiederin, 76% passing on the year, and he's throwing at about that clip again here this evening. The only blemish is the 1 interception. Outside of that, Wiederin has thrown the ball pretty fantastic. Lutheran High in business inside the 30 of Ainsworth already. Wiederin with the snap, he drops back, looks nobody open. He's just going to take the sack there.
If there was one thing that I could take away from Wiedemann is he makes one look and he doesn't check to his secondary. If most young quarterbacks, I'm going to say young high school quarterbacks, they'll drop back, they'll look at one person, and they don't check to their secondary. In his case, he's got to check to his secondary because he had wide open receivers on the right side of the field that he just didn't check to.
And it looked like it was Caleb Irwin there on the sack for Ainsworth. Tight set for Lutheran High here. That'll be Spear on the direct snap. He takes off, cuts up field, but there's a penalty flag on the play near the 29, right sitting inside the 0 of the 30, and it's going to be a holding penalty against Lutheran High Northeast. 1:31 left here in the first quarter, but Lutheran High is going to get pushed back after the infraction.
You know, that takes the wind out of Lutheran High sails, especially when they've got offense rolling and everything's working for them, and then you get an offsides call like that. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, you can't have a holding penalty like that. Now you're pushed back to the 40, and it's going to be 2nd down and about 20 here for the Eagles. 2nd and 20 is going to be the goal for Lutheran High Northeast here. Wiederin back in the shotgun. He'll take the snap, looks to throw, pump fake, threw it, and that one is going to drop incomplete. He got pressure big time there between He got pressure big time there by Killian and Kyle Eartham. Ainsworth coming through with some big pressure there on that play. Actually, it was Jace Beck on the pressure for Ainsworth, and really couldn't do much there with that throw. You could see where he was looking, but there was nobody really in the vicinity.
That was a perfect time for the blitz. You know, their backers for Ainsworth, their linebackers are coming in really fast, and they're coming in just ridiculously with so much speed. It's crazy.
Waiter in the gun, rolls out this time. Another pass this time. He throws it out and intercepted! Intercepted by Ainsworth. Regan Temple with the pick. Down to the 45. Ainsworth will have the ball at their own 48-yard line. Another turnover for Lutheran High.
I wouldn't count that so fast. There's a flag over there.
If the interception stands, that is two big interceptions by Aiden Wiederin. And it was a procedure penalty against Lutheran High, so the interception stands. 1st and 10, Ainsworth with their best starting field position of the game.
That's huge. I mean, Ainsworth has got to take advantage of that turnover and put some points on the board. You know, tell Lutheran High, hey, we came to play.
Ainsworth lining up to get back to work here on this drive. Peyton Allen, the quarterback for Ainsworth, lines up under center. Killian is in motion. He takes off, spurts down across midfield to about the 47 or so. You know, for a second, it looked like they were trying to set up a little bit of a halfback pass there with Killian. You saw just a little bit of a hesitation. There wasn't much, but it was just enough to make Lutheran High think, hey, maybe he's throwing here. And you never know. They're probably trying to set something up for later in the game.
Now would be a perfect time with the 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6. Catch them off guard early.
Peyton Allen in under center. Throws it out quick, and that one will be incomplete. He was looking for Regan Temple there, who had the interception there for Ainsworth just a minute ago.
You know, that was a good idea because Tyler Bates, the safety right there, was nowhere to be found. If he would have completed that, you're looking 40 yards the other way.
30 seconds left here in the first quarter. 3rd and 6 here for Ainsworth, who have really fought tooth and nail here with Lutheran High throughout most of those first 12 minutes. If you're Ainsworth, that's one thing you got to like to see. You've at least for the most part held serve here for the first quarter. Allen drops back. That's another incompletion. They're intended for Temple, running that same little flat route almost on the towards the far sideline, and that'll be 4th down and 6 here with 26 seconds left in the opening quarter.
You know, honestly, if I was Ainsworth right now, I say, let's go for it. You know, it's 4th and 4, 30 seconds left in the quarter. Just take a shot early in the game.
Ainsworth instead is lined up to punt. And it looks like Wyatt Killian is back there to punt. He kicks it away. Riley Berner catches it at the 20, and he's stopped at about the 25 or so. Gang tackled by quite a few Bulldogs over there, right along the hash mark. And it'll be 1st down, Lutheran High here with 15 seconds to go in the first quarter. 15 seconds to go here in the first quarter, and Lutheran High will actually have its worst starting field position of the game, and they're starting at their own 26, which really is not bad field position, but that just says to where they've started the ball, at least 2 possessions inside Ainsworth territory here this evening.
Definitely, that's going to be huge.
Wiederin in at the shotgun, receiver cutting across, that's Hunter Spear, cuts across the 30-35. That'll be close to a 1st down here for Lutheran High here with 7 seconds left here in the opening quarter. 1st down run there by Hunter Spear. One of the best runs here out of the last couple of drives, really. Lutheran High had really relied on the pass these last couple of possessions. It paid off big with the touchdown pass, but then it really hurt them with the interception.
I love watching Spear run the ball. He runs with so much passion and so much heart. He's not being stopped.
Wiederin fakes and he keeps it himself here, cuts up field, 40, and he is cut down there at the 42 by Ben Allen. End of the first quarter, Lutheran High leads Ainsworth 8-0. Welcome back to Veterans Memorial Park here in Norfolk. Lutheran High Northeast 8-0 over Ainsworth through one quarter of play. Lutheran High really dominating with the ground game, but the passing game is what's kind of cost them. They got an accurate quarterback in Aiden Wiederin, but he has 2 first-quarter interceptions, which have really haunted Lutheran High here in the early going.
You know, it didn't really help when you have 2 early injuries with your 2 top running backs. That's got to hurt. And, you know, I think maybe Wiedemann had a little bit of pressure knowing that his running backs were hurt and out for a few downs, so maybe he felt a little pressure.
Riley Berner with the first carry here of the second quarter, and nothing's doing. He loses a couple. It'll be 3rd down and 6. But going back to those injuries, Hunter Spear returned 2 plays later from his injury. We have yet to see Philip Kirby back in the game. He's walking the sidelines. He's still dressed in full uniform, but he doesn't have his helmet with him, which never is generally a good sign.
Yeah, I would say, he'd be done for the night. You really hope the best for him. You hope he's going to be okay, but you never know.
Wiederin fakes the handoff, rolls out, throws to the far side, and that one falls incomplete. He was throwing for Andy Zesson, the tight end there, but instead it falls incomplete. 4th and 6, Lutheran High in a punting situation here early in the second quarter.
You can see some frustration from Wiedemann. You know, he knows he's not on top of his game tonight. He's had 2 interceptions, and he almost had 3 right there. He's got to figure it out before the end of the game.
And it'll be Hunter Spear lined up to punt here for the Eagles. Got 2 men back for Ainsworth. Wyatt Killian, number 8. Snap goes over the head. He picks it up, still tries to punt it, but it's picked up, and it's running for a touchdown by Regan Temple. Touchdown, Ainsworth. What an alert play by Regan Temple.
What just happened?
Hunter Spear tried to be the magician and still get the punt away after a really high snap that took him all the way back inside his own 10. Barely got it off, and what made matters worse was Temple just picked it out of the air. Just looked like he got it before the ball even hit the ground and ran it in for a touchdown. And now Ainsworth has a 2-point conversion from tying this thing up, and it's all because of Lutheran High's own mistakes. Credit Matt Kovar, number 12 at Ainsworth, for hitting him. Lutheran High steps up defensively, though. Stop the 2-point conversion run, 8-6. Lutheran High still holds the lead. Great defense there by Lutheran High there. It would have been easy for them to mail it in and say, okay, we'll just call it a tie ball game. But, man, defensively stepped up. There was a whole host of Eagles there. Nobody was getting through that.
Yeah, definitely. You know, if you're Lutheran High, you got to find a way to get over your mistakes, because that's what's killing the game right now. Your mistakes just cost you 6 points, and they're 2 points away from tying this ball game up. Ainsworth has had a few lucky breaks, and they're playing okay. I'm not going to say they're playing good, but they're playing good enough to keep them in this ball game, and Lutheran High needs to keep mistakes out of this ball game.
Ainsworth is playing opportunistic. That's what they're doing right now. They're taking advantage of mistakes. And they took advantage of a couple of poorly thrown passes there by Aiden Wiederin in the first quarter and turned them into interceptions. Didn't get anything out of them other than a little bit of momentum. But that time, boy, the high snap, Spear tries punting it away, but it turns into a touchdown return for Regan Temple. We've got a big ball game here. Jacob Furno lined up to kick off here for Ainsworth. That one's up and away. Actually, it's Caleb Irwin there on the kickoff, excuse me. Kovar with the nice tackle there for Ainsworth. And Caleb Rath with the short return. Lutheran High starting at their own 35 here. 10:56 to go in the second quarter. 8-6. Lutheran High with the lead over Ainsworth. Wiedering takes a snap and just runs it up the middle. Looks like he got about 4 there here. It'll be 2nd down and 7. They'll spot it as a gain of 3 for Wiedering on 1st down.
Lutheran High really seems to be slowing the pace of the game has literally come to a screeching halt.
And this is a time I think where Sucksdorf is going to be looking to reestablish that running game a little bit after going away from it. Hunter Spear there around the far side. He's got some blockers lined up, cuts across the field all the way down almost to the 50. Nice run there by Hunter Spear. You mentioned his running style earlier in the game, and man, he looks like he wants to take this team on his shoulders tonight with the way he's running the ball.
If he's going to run like that, I'm doing it. I mean, he's got a full head of steam, and he's got some wheels that aren't stopping. Give him the ball.
Lutheran High up 8-6 here, counting down to within 10 minutes here of halftime. And that'll be Hunter Spear on the carry again. And he churns through a couple of tackles. He's down inside the 35 to about the 33-yard line. Another nice run there for Hunter Spear. I think they're going to start keep feeding him now.
He really reminds me of a running back that I used to play with back in high school. He actually plays for Doe now, DJ Baumsberger. He's not as big, but he has that same running style that's just, I'm not stopping. And you know, DJ, I actually know you from high school, so you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say he runs just like DJ.
And really, Hunter Spear, he is running tough here in the first half. The thing is going to be to try to sustain that over 4 quarters.
Absolutely.
Wiedering in the gun to take the snap here. He hands it off to, on the far, coming here around the near side. Caleb Rath breaks a couple tackles, down past the 20, the 10, to about the 6-yard line. Caleb Rath with the big carry there for Lutheran High. They're using everybody.
Man, it pays to have a team like that where you can just literally spread the love and put points on the board.
They're in a spot, Lutheran High at the 7-yard line, 7 yards from pay dirt and extending that lead with 9:27 left until halftime. Lutheran High continuing their, that's kind of a methodical no-huddle offense here. Wiedering back in kind of a short shotgun formation, 2 backs behind him, and it's Spear on the direct snap, and he is spun down at about the 8. Nice tackle there by Ainsworth. Ben Allen, the first one in there, and that'll be a loss of at least 1.
You know, I really like the pistol look from Lutheran High. You know, it's not quite a pistol, but I'm going to call it a pistol because, I mean, it's so short. Their backs are literally within, a yard or 2 of each other. It's ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it.
That's probably the best way to describe it, really, Josh, is the pistol set. I mean, we used to see something like this almost out in Nebraska once in a while. Granted, it wasn't quite as exotic of a formation. Wiedering with the snap, fakes the handoff, steps up, throws in the end zone, touchdown! Touchdown, Lutheran High! Caleb Rath had the big run to get down in there, and he catches a touchdown pass right across the middle.
I love the little play action from the quarterback. He steps back as if he's going to pass, gives a little jab fake, hits it right over the middle. Perfect. He dedicated that. I mean, that's just, he nailed it perfect.
Caleb Rath isn't one of the names we've mentioned a ton here so far during the webcast, but really he came through huge on this drive, had a big run to get him down here, and then steps up with a real nice touchdown catch between a couple of Ainsworth defenders. Really nice looking play there. And Lutheran High will go for 2. Wiedering steps back looking to pass, throws it, and that'll be caught. 2-point conversion if the depends on what the penalty is. It was Andy Zesson on the catch there for the 2-point conversion. We'll see what the flag is about. Saw an Ainsworth player clapping, so we'll see if that's any indication. An eligible man downfield against Lutheran High. And it looks like there's an Ainsworth player down on the sideline at about the 12-yard line.
I didn't get the chance to see who that is.
with all the misdirection on that play, I did see a player go down. It was hard to tell who it was.
Yeah.
It was kind of in a cluster of bodies almost, and then Weeder ended up rolling around to the other side to throw for that 2-point conversion. Really a nice play. Way to make something happen with his legs there. But really all for naught when you figure in the ineligible man downfield penalty.
Yeah.
And that is Matt Kovar being taken off the field for Ainsworth. He's the one who had he's had a couple of big plays there defensively for them. We mentioned his name on the block punt, I believe, and really stepping up. That's going to be a tough loss there for Ainsworth, I believe. 5-yard penalty, and it looks like Lutheran High will line up to kick here. Wiedering is the holder. Hunter Spear is the kicker for Lutheran High. And there is another flag. Offsides is a call against Ainsworth. So Wiedering, being smart, uses the hard count, draws Ainsworth offsides. They'll make it a little bit of an easier kick there for Hunter Spear.
You know, I think that's a good call. Right now, if they wanted to, they could go back for 2 and see what happens, but it doesn't look like that's the case.
Well, and you think about it, it's 14-6 right now. You make the extra point. It's a 2-possession game with a 15-6 lead. I think the call here is going to be to go for 1, and it looks like that's what Coach Darren Suckstorf is going to have the kids do. Weeder in the holder. Task for the ball. Kick is up and good. Hunter Spear with the extra point. 15-6. Lutheran High leads Ainsworth here with 8 minutes, 42 seconds to go until halftime.
If you're Ainsworth, I mean, you don't let that kill your vibe, because 15-6, like you said earlier, it is a 2-possession game, but you have 8 minutes and 42 seconds to make something happen. You have plenty of time in this ball game left. Make something happen. Don't wait for Lutheran High to just let you have something happen. Make something happen and put points up on the board.
And that's the thing. Lutheran High is let Ainsworth make things happen. You look at the 2 interceptions. You look at the snap above the punter's head. I mean, that's why Ainsworth is in this game. This easily could be a 3-4 score, possibly 4-score game already if Lutheran High had simply taken care of themselves here. But they haven't. They've made a few mistakes here, and Ainsworth has taken advantage of them, quite frankly. I mean, that's all football is all about, is limiting your own mistakes and taking advantage of the opposition's mistakes. And really, Lutheran High Northeast is in a good position. They're up 15-6. And when their offense is humming, Ainsworth really doesn't have an answer.
Right, you know, it's just like you said earlier, this could be a 2, 3, 4 possession game. Ainsworth has found a way to get it done. I think Lutheran High has kind of just shot themselves in the foot one too many times. It should be a 3 or 4 possession game, but Lutheran High just too many mistakes, too many penalties. They need to clean it up for the second half.
Lutheran High Northeast lined up to kick off here to get the ball back to Ainsworth. Kick is away, and it's going to go out of bounds inside the 15. The penalty flag flies down on the far sideline. Ainsworth will have good field position to work with, which, as you know from playing football, that's one of the first things you're looking for when you give up a touchdown like Ainsworth did. You want good field position to start off that next drive to try to answer.
It almost makes it almost acts as if a relief. You know, when you give up a touchdown and then you come back on the kickoff and you get great field position right now starting at the 35, it almost acts as ice on the wound.
Peyton Allen, the quarterback for Ainsworth, haven't seen a lot out of him as far as throwing the football. He's struggled mightily so far against the Lutheran High secondary. Got back going into motion. Try the swing screen, and it's incomplete.
That looked like a lateral hook and ladder look. It looked like he was coming around looking for the hook and ladder, and it wasn't there. I was kind of excited for a second.
Caleb Irwin, the intended receiver there, and I mean that one just bounced away from him. That's one that I'm sure that Peyton Allen will want to have back. I mean, that's a throw that most quarterbacks should feel like they can make most days of the week, including Friday night. Toss over to the far side to Killian. He breaks through, gets a few before he's pushed back. I think it's going to be about a gain of 6 here. But he was pushed back a solid 2.5 yards there after the carry. They're gonna spot him at. Yep, they're gonna give him the forward progress to the 41. Third down and about 4 here. Little over 8 minutes left here in the first half.
If I'm Ainsworth, I'm moving the football right now because they've got stuff working.
Allen rolls back, throws towards the near side. Got a crossing route. Had a man open, but it's incomplete. Oh, led Riggin Temple about 5 yards too much there. You can see where that play was going. You could see Ainsworth had the right play call. They had Temple had him step or two on his man, but Peyton Allen just overthrew it by about 5 yards. It'll be 4th down and 4. Ainsworth in a punting situation here.
Yeah, Temple had his man beat by 2 or 3 yards. I mean, there was no one around him. If you can complete that pass, you're looking at 6 points on the board.
Kind of a rugby-style punt there by Killian. Fair caught at about the 23-yard line for Lutheran High. Penalty flag comes down.
It looked like Matt Kovar. I mean, he just came in late. Something like that. If you're Ainsworth, let it go.
Personal foul is the penalty against Ainsworth. That's a big blow because you had Lutheran High down inside the 25 for probably their worst field position of the game, and instead it's a 15-yard penalty for really probably something that could have been prevented.
Oh, if I'm coach, I am livid on that call because those are completely preventable.
Instead, Lutheran High Northeast takes the march 15 yards along with the official, and it'll be 1st down and 10 for Lutheran High at their own 38. Again, great field position for the Eagles if they can take advantage of it.
You know, all night long they've really taken good care of the football so far. I mean, take away those 2 interceptions, they really have been playing good football and taking care of the ball, but, you know, they're taking advantage of that field position.
Pistol set here for the Eagles. Weeder in the back. And it'll be Riley Berner on the direct snap. He cuts around the far side. He'll have a 1st down. Hunter Spear with the 1st down on the first carry of this drive. Great run there on around the far side. They've run that play quite a bit already this evening, and Ainsworth really hasn't had much of an answer for it. Spear has really had good running lanes down along that side most of the night.
You know, I think the reason that Lutheran High Northeast is so successful is not because their backs are so good, it's because their blocking is phenomenal, and it opens up huge holes for the running backs.
4 seniors on that offensive line really make a difference, I think, and a lot of experience down there as well, not just in age. And this time, nothing doing. Spear was the ball carrier again there, it looks like, and he's a little slow to get up. Be 2nd down and long here. He's taking his time getting up. No gain on that play. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for Lutheran High. Just inside their side of the 50. Probably about a foot or so from that black line on the 50 here at Veterans Memorial Park in Norfolk. Wiedering in the shotgun this time, a little further back, fakes a handoff, and he cuts upfield. He gets across the 50, and that's about it. He got stonewalled there by Matt Kovar. Great play there for Ainsworth, but it looks like a couple Ainsworth players are slow to get up. 3rd down and 9 coming up here for the Eagles.
I don't know if you guys saw it on your screen, but Ian Anderson laid a ferocious block on the outside to open up somewhat of a hole for Wiedemann. I don't even know if you got the chance to see that block, but wow.
And Ben Allen, not Ben Allen, that will be number 63, Kyle Eartham. We mentioned his name a couple of times down there on the defensive line for Ainsworth. He's the one taking the walk with the coach back to the bench. They're going to probably take another look at him. That may have been the victim of the stonewall block that you saw here just a moment ago. Lutheran High taking some signals from Coach Sucksdorf and taking a glance at the wristband. 6:27 and counting here to go in the first half. Lutheran High Northeast 15-6 over Ainsworth. Wiederman from the gun throws, and that one's complete. It won't be enough for the first down, though, for Hunter Spear. Ball was thrown behind him there. Wiederman didn't make probably his best throw there, so it'll be fourth down and about 4 here for the Eagles.
To say the least, I mean, Spear made a great attempt at that catch. Even though it was thrown behind him, he did his best to make some yards up for this fourth down attempt.
Looks like Lutheran High is going to leave the offense out there and go for it here on fourth down with 5 minutes, 40 seconds and counting here. There will be a timeout by Ainsworth. 5:38 showing on the clock. 15-6. Lutheran High Northeast with the lead over Ainsworth here at Veterans Memorial Park here in Norfolk.
You know, I think that's a good timeout if you're Ainsworth, because it gives you guys a second to rest their legs, you know, get that thought process of we need to get this stop and put something on the board, because if we don't, that just resets the chains and it gets them going for the, 5 minutes left before halftime.
And really, we've seen kind of a mix of both styles here this evening. We mentioned in the pregame, Ainsworth averaged only 16.25 points a game. So for them to have 6 here at half, here with a little less than 6 minutes before halftime, it's not bad when you think about it as far as, where they're at on their average. Lutheran High Northeast, they average 50 points a game in their wins, 39 points a game on the season. They're at 15 points, so they're close to about what their average is. Lutheran High Northeast does keep the offense back out there. Aiden Wiederman back in the gun here on 4th and 4. Rolls to the right side. Ben Allen giving some pressure, and that one is caught. Caught on the far sideline. What a catch for Lutheran High Northeast to keep this drive alive.
I thought that was going to be a pick and it was going to be heading the other way. I really did.
You can count me with you on that one, but man, what a play there by Ryan Brand, the 6-foot senior, having to stretch that whole frame out there to get that one. It'll be a first down for Lutheran High inside the 35 down to the 34. Great play there to keep this one alive. Wiederman back in the gun here. Takes it, runs right up the middle, gets past a couple of tacklers. Looks like somebody tried ripping his jersey in half there, but it didn't quite happen. Instead, it'll be a 6-yard gain, it looks like, for Wiederman. Second down and 4, and Lutheran High all of a sudden with a little bit of a jolt to their offense.
Yeah, I really thought that they would kind of stay with a slow-paced offense. They're really just going all out tonight. They're playing phenomenal football. And if there are only a couple people that I could pick out that, have made this happen is Wiedemann and Spear. They're really big idle offense pieces to this.
Nothing doing on that carry there for Spear. Ben Allen leading the tacklers for Ainsworth. And it'll be third down and 4 or 5. We're going to call it 3rd and 5 at the 29-yard line for Lutheran High. Wiederman flanked by two in the backfield. And it'll be Hunter Spear with the direct snap, but flag flies. Looks like a motion penalty against Lutheran High.
I love how Lutheran's High offense, they don't just stick with one look the whole game. They go from the I to the pistol to the T set. I mean, they give you every look imaginable, and that's what creates so much of their success, really.
Unfortunately, a little bit of extra motion there, though, for Lutheran High, and it'll be 3rd down and 10 from their own 34. Lutheran High with trips to this near side. Now, you mentioned different looks for Lutheran High. This is one we haven't seen yet. Trips here on the near side. Wiederman and Spear in the backfield. Drops a snap. Fumbled snap, and I think Wiederman got it back.
That's just a tough break when you have a 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11. You have trips on one side with 6 foot receivers. You have 6-foot receivers all the way across the board, and you just cough the ball up.
Well, and not only did he cough the ball up, he was facing a heavy blitz. Ben Allen leading a whole host of Bulldogs coming in there hot. 3 minutes and 30 seconds here left in the first half, and now Lutheran High Northeast has to punt it away. Low snap, and he gets that one away. And not a great kick. That short punt will be whistle out of bounds at the 22, and boy, that was even a generous spot from there. I thought he was going to keep walking past the 25.
I did too. I mean, he really just seemed unsure.
It looked like that punt just kind of got shanked right there off the side of his foot. And really, considering the circumstances, Ainsworth really in great field position here. You think about the fourth down that Lutheran High converted with a real nice pass there on the far side just a minute ago, and all of a sudden, Ainsworth has the ball back because Lutheran High couldn't move it. Roll out here for Peyton Allen. Throws, and that one will be incomplete. He threw for Caleb Irwin there, but too high for him. That has been Peyton Allen's problem here most of the evening. He's had trouble hitting his receivers. Overthrows have been a big issue with him so far this evening. And Ainsworth does throw the ball quite a bit, but Allen is just a sophomore, so you figure he's still learning the position as well.
You know, if you're Avar, as you said, you have a wide open receiver, Kovar, across the middle, a 6'2 senior. Give him the ball.
And another overthrow by Peyton Allen there. That time he overthrew Killian. They're crossing over the middle. It'll be 3rd down and 10. They're definitely trying to stretch the field here with some of those intermediate passes, but boy, poor kid is putting a little too much mustard on everything right about now.
You know, in a case like that, I think you need to start small. Start with screens. Start with, slants, something like that, and open it up.
And they've had trouble with those too. You remember the little flip screen they tried the last possession. That time there's another overthrow. Way over the head, that time of Bronk Temple. And Ainsworth is 3 and out on 3 straight incompletions, and really, none of them were that close to being completions, really.
You know, if you're Ainsworth, are you frustrated yet?
You know, you wonder if that's playing a little bit of a factor into it, but you think about things, really, you shouldn't be that frustrated. 3 minutes and 6 seconds left here in the first half. Lutheran High Northeast with a 15-6 lead, and the snap goes under the punter, and he is tackled, drops the ball, is picked up. Lutheran High, touchdown! Touchdown, Lutheran High! Aiden Wiederin, the quarterback on offense, the safety on defense, comes through for Lutheran High on the punt.
Give that man an award. He can do it all.
Wow, what a play there. Ball popped up out of the air, and Wiederin just caught it and just trotted in. I mean,
he can do it all. Seriously, give him an award.
Well,
I think
both teams are even now in the muff punt department.
I think I shouldn't have, said anything about being frustrated.
And both teams now with their issues with the whole punt snap department. Wiederin gets a hold down. Spear with the kick is through. 22-6. Lutheran High leads Ainsworth. 3 minutes even left here in the first half. You talk about changing the momentum of a game right there. A switch flipped again. And we had the switch flip a few minutes ago with Lutheran High's muff punt, but boy, that one, ball rolled under the punter's legs. He tried picking it up and kicking it, but it looked like he dropped the ball instead.
Yeah,
and then the ball kind of popped out of the air, and Wiederin was right there to grab it and run it in for a touchdown. It's not a play you see every day, let alone twice in, about 9 minutes or so?
Give or take, yeah.
Twice in 9 minutes we've had muff punts resulting directly in touchdowns, and that's contributed to this 22-6 score. The most recent one giving Lutheran High this 16-point lead. 16 points is still a 2-possession game, but boy, you gotta have some things go right. When you think about 2-point conversions, We all know Nebraska did that a week ago against Miami as part of their big comeback.
Yes.
But it's a tough all sometimes in high school because not everybody works on the 2-point conversions all the time. A lot of times, as you would know, in the 8-man level, that's all you have is
Literally, I mean,
that's all you have is 2-point
you
conversions
don't kick
there.
extra points.
And that will be the second kickoff.
Good
Did it
kick.
go out of bounds?
Oh.
Yes, it did. It went out of bounds at about the 5. That ball just kind of painted that line there for a while.
I don't know.
For a second, that looked like it might actually turn out to be a great kick for Lutheran High because Ainsworth thought it was just going to roll out of bounds again. Well, it took a very favorable Lutheran High bounce there for a while.
I don't know. That to me, that looked like it's still, it was still on this side of the line. I don't know. That was pretty. That was a great kick. Oh, man.
I will give the officials the benefit of the doubt because they are on that side and they can see a little bit better right there than we can up here in the booth. We're right about at the 40-yard, standing right about the 40-yard line or so. Peyton Allen with the give on first down. That'll be Jacob Furno on the carry. I haven't called his name a whole lot here so far, but that one will make it second and about 5 here for Ainsworth. 2 minutes and 45 seconds and counting until halftime.
I think if you're Ainsworth, you need to start airing it out at some point in the night. Your passing game has got to start working.
But we've seen what's happened when they've tried that.
Yes.
The drives where they go 0 for 3 or a lot of incompletions, and there will be a timeout here. Timeout with 2 minutes, 31 seconds left until halftime. Ainsworth with the ball. Second and 5 at their own 40. And it's very surprising that I mentioned earlier that Jacob Furno hasn't touched the ball a lot here this evening. They've tried running it, working it quite a bit with Wyatt Killian, and that's all good and decent, but Furno is their leading rusher, and it's not like this game is out of reach or anything like that either. I mean, Furno averages 4.8 yards a carry. I know Killian averages 6, but Furno is your workhorse. He has 71 carries on the year already in 4 games. I mean, to me, you got to start feeding it to him and let him, put the team on his back like he has a couple times already this year.
Yeah, you definitely need to put the ball in his hands and let him put the team on his shoulders.
And that'll be another run for Ainsworth. And that, we mentioned they need to go to Jacob Furno a little bit more. And what do? They run it, pound it again with Furno. That'll put them within a yard of the sticks. 3rd and 1 here with 2:08 and counting here till halftime.
I think here's where you try to play action or, a little slip screen, something like that.
They're going T formation, double tights. Handed off to Killian that time. Did he get enough for the first down? The way they're lining it up, I think it'll be close either way. And it looked like Lutheran High got in a timeout as well.
From where I'm standing, it doesn't look like they're going to make it. But wisely enough, they're going to mark it.
They're going to measure. This one's going to be close. That's going to be a couple inches one way or the other, I think, here.
I think he's going to wind up a little short. He does get the first down. Wow.
Barely. That's one of those where you get it by about the nose of the football, and that's about it. I've seen some of those measurements come down, and you just kind of look at like, you have got to be kidding me at how close some of these can be. 1:50 until halftime. Looks like there was no timeout called there. Clock is rolling. Peyton Allen under the center. Tosses it around the far side to Killian, and he is stonewalled before midfield. A couple of Lutheran High defenders close in quick. Lee Grebe and Tyler Bates both there on the tackle. Nice play there for Lutheran High to really contain that one. It does result in a gain of 3, though. Lutheran High at their own 48 here. 1:20 and counting until halftime. 22-6, Lutheran High with the lead here just before the break.
Ainsworth doesn't seem to have really a hurry to their tempo, and they should, because with 1 minute and 9 seconds left, they're down by 2 possessions. You got to start moving that football.
And Lutheran High had signaled for timeout. The ref had been signaling for timeout for several seconds before they finally got the clock stopped with 1:01. I wonder if they're going to try to add a couple seconds to that clock here, because it looked like they were signaling at about 1:05 or 1:06 even already. It was a very late before they got the timeout called. Or I should say until the clock actually got stopped. It'll be 3rd down and 8 here for Ainsworth coming up here. 22-6, Lutheran High with the lead. Both teams are even in the punt block, or I should say muff punt department. Outside of that, Lutheran High has a couple of short drives for touchdowns, and Ainsworth this has been about the best they've moved the ball here this evening. They haven't had a lot of offense to their name, a lot of incompletions by sophomore quarterback Peyton Allen, and they haven't really been able to get their run game going. Had a couple of nice carries by Jacob Furno earlier on this drive, and Ainsworth is knocking on the door of crossing midfield again here. 1:06 is back on the clock now. Third and let's call it 8 here at the 47 of Ainsworth. Hard count there by Peyton Allen, used beautifully, draws Lutheran High off sides. That'll be a free 5 yards for the Bulldogs.
I think that's a smart, that's going to help their clock. It's going to help their tempo. They got to speed up this tempo, though. Work on getting this first down. After they get that first down, I wouldn't be surprised if they run a little hurry-up offense.
Well, if they do have hurry-up offense, we haven't seen it yet. 3rd and 3 here. Peyton Allen stepping in under center. Got double wing set. I-back moves in motion, and that'll be Furnow on the carry. But big stop there by Lutheran High, and another Eagles timeout.
He's slow to get up.
And Furno is slow to get up there, too. He took a big wallop there at the end of that run. It'll be 4th down, and we're going to call it about 2 here.
If I had to guess, I would just assume that he got the wind knocked out of him. The way he rolled over, I know you've been to a couple of my games in my day, and once you get the wind knocked out of you, it sounds like aliens are coming out of you. So, the way he rolled over and just the way that he's reacting, I would assume he just got the wind knocked out of him.
Assuming always a dangerous thing when it comes to injuries, however, Lutheran High and Ainsworth both taking advantage of this as basically an extra timeout. Lutheran High did burn one right after this play. They're out of timeouts with a minute left. Ainsworth has 2 left. They'll be facing a 4th and 2 at the 47. Furno is getting up, and
it looks like they're looking at his right knee.
They're looking at his knee, it looks like, from up here in the booth. Being helped up by Wyatt Killian. Those 2 have been Ainsworth's main threats offensively here this evening. Killian's probably gotten more carries so far this evening, and Furno's been kind of their big power back out of kind of that wing tee and kind of a flex bone look that they've had here this evening.
You really hope to see him back, especially if you're in favor of Ainsworth, because he really is your workhorse, as you said earlier. Without him, I really think these guys are going to have a hard time moving the ball.
4th and 2, and Ainsworth is going to go for it. Allen steps in, fakes the handoff out of the tight T set, throws incomplete. Turnover on downs for Lutheran High. Nice defense there on the pass. It looked like they were ready for a play fake out of that double tight T formation there that Ainsworth runs.
With 55 seconds left on the clock right now, I don't expect Lutheran High to try and move the football. I just kind of see them running their normal offense, kind of taking an easy pace, seeing if they can pick up some extra yards before they go into halftime.
See, I beg to disagree with you. You don't burn 3 timeouts on that possession and expect to just kind of lazily run out the clock. I think Lutheran High is going to try to mount another threat here before the break. 55 seconds and no timeout, so it's going to be a tall order. Be interesting to see what Coach Suckstorf drums up here. Short throw across the middle.
He's got to get out. He's got to get out. He's breaking away.
Ryan Brand breaks away down to the 20, the 10, and he finally ducks out of bounds at the 3-yard line. What a run after the catch by Ryan Brand.
Wow, they're going to mark him back all the way at the 20.
They're going to say he stepped out at the 20, but still, great run after the catch. Great awareness to know that he had to cut towards the sidelines, and he did that, and he tried his darndest. You could see him waving his arms to keep that one alive as long as he could.
That's the second time we saw that hook and ladder look. That's what opened that up, is he faked the hook and ladder and broke back into the inside.
Wiedemann steps back to pass again, throws it, and that receiver just got clocked. Andy Zesson went across the middle, and he got hit by 2 different Ainsworth players. One of those guys is down. Zesson is back up for Lutheran High.
That was a very scary hit right there.
Scary indeed. Those are the kinds of hits that coaches that keep people up at night when you talk about football.
Wow, that just gave me instant chills. You hope that he's okay. I mean,
hard to tell, but thought it might have been Regan Temple who got hurt down there for Ainsworth. He's the one that had the interception in the end zone for the first Lutheran High turnover of the evening. 40 seconds left until halftime. And you get the feeling after Lutheran High burning those 3 timeouts, you got the feeling they wanted to keep things moving. They wanted to get something going here before the break. And boy, after that first play by Ryan Brand, you thought that initially that they would be in great business. They'd be out, ball inside the 5-yard line, but instead it's brought back to the 20, and then an incompletion. I mean, and honestly, if you're Aiden Wiedemann, you don't want to throw that ball because you don't want that to be your player who's still down and injured.
He threw that in a very tight window. I mean, 3 defenders for Ainsworth were right there. In my opinion, that's way too tight of a window for him to be throwing that ball. Man, that is scary.
And the other part of that thought process, he's already thrown 1 red zone interception. Actually, I should say end zone interception. The last thing you want to do is make that mistake again here.
Yes,
after your team has burned 3 timeouts, to give yourselves one more shot before the break and extending this 16-point lead.
That's a very good point. I mean, 1 red zone interception, you have 40 seconds left. As you said earlier, this could solve as another timeout. In my honest opinion, I think this is working in Ainsworth's favor because this is kind of slowing the pace of Lutheran High right now.
And yes, that was Regan Temple who got injured on the play. As we said earlier, he had a nice interception for them. Contribute on the muff punt play. I believe he was the one who had the return, who caught the ball off the foot of Hunter Spear and returned it for a touchdown. I mean, he's been a clutch player here for Ainsworth this evening. That is a tough loss for them.
Yeah, well, the good news is he's walking off on his own power. It doesn't look like he's limping. He looks like he's going to be okay. I think you may see him back after halftime.
And that's the other thing there, with the halftime break coming up. Maybe give some of these players a chance to rest up a little bit more. Lutheran High has not been immune to injury either this evening. Aiden Wiedemann steps back in under shotgun. 40 seconds left till halftime. That was Burner cut across the middle. Wiedemann throws it to Brand, but threw it on the other side of his shoulder. Looked like that pass was designed to be thrown into the end zone, but either Ryan Brand made his cut way too late, or maybe cut a little too soon.
I think he was in the ballpark. I think Wiedemann needs to pump fake, give him a good pump fake, let that defender bite on it, and then give it just loft it. I mean, give it so much air so your receiver can get under it.
Yeah, if that's the out and up route that you're running, you're looking at, that's exactly what you want to do, is give the play fake as soon as the receiver makes the first move. And trips to the far side for Wiedemann, rolls out, throws to the far side
Pass interference. That is a good call. No.
It didn't look like a flag got thrown, but some white came from the
I don't
official
know.
instead. I'm with you. I thought there might have been pass interference on
There was
Ainsworth.
quite a bit of contact.
And you could make an argument both ways almost on that play.
It will be pass interference. That is a good call.
And the thing about that is, if anything else with that throw, you're almost baiting the defender into pass interference.
Right.
And really, that's a smart play there by Wiedering. I mean, he tried giving his guy a chance to catch it. And really, if you think about it, he made the right read on that play. Ryan Brand was open. There were a couple of guys in the vicinity, but then they closed on a hurry and whacked Brand a little too early. Wiedering in the gun, twins to the far side, looks, throws, and that pass is batted down. Nice play there by Matt Kovar of Ainsworth to bat the pass down. 24.4 seconds left until halftime. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for Lutheran High Northeast. Eagles wait for the signal, and they're getting lined up. They'll go twins on the far side. Wiedering back in the shotgun. Stomps the foot, sends Spear across. Wiedering takes it up the middle. Touchdown, Lutheran High Northeast.
He went in completely untouched for, a 10-yard gain.
Aiden Wiedering untouched on the quarterback run up the middle.
I find it just shocking that there isn't a play action. It's not a read option. There is no fake. Why are your backers not stepping up? Why are your safeties not stepping up? I'm confused by that.
Get back to that thought in a moment. Wiedering takes the hold, Spear with the kick. And that one is up and through the uprights. Good. 28-6. Lutheran High Northeast with the lead here before halftime. Going back to that touchdown play, though, Lutheran High Northeast has run quite a bit of that misdirection, though, this evening. You've seen it time and again where they're sending, whether it's Riley Berner or even Ryan Brand or Caleb Rath. I mean, they're always sending people across there. I mean, remember, Caleb Rath burned them the last time with that run on the far,
Yep.
on the near side and that set up a touchdown on the last drive. So yeah, their linebackers and safeties have to respect that outside running game, and that opens a lot of things up for Wiedering. And one of the things that Coach Darren Suckstorf told me in pregame was they use Wiedering a lot in the running game, and it's not just like a read option like you were mentioning. It is. I mean, they're using him like another running back out there.
Absolutely.
And those of you who love the old school option football where the quarterback was essentially another running back, in the area of Scott Frost or Tommy Frazier or somebody like that, you love watching stuff like this. I mean, who doesn't love a quarterback at this level who can play physical like that? And Wiedering really, he's asked to do a lot in this offense. So, for him to step up with a real big touchdown run there, big play there for him. Ainsworth with the return. Very short return there. Only got about 4 yards there. 4-yard return there for Bronk Temple. And 14.9 seconds left until halftime. It's a 29-6 lead here for Lutheran High Northeast. And you got to imagine, in this situation, Ainsworth may try to just run the clock out here before the break. And there's, 15 seconds left. The one thing you do have is 2 timeouts, but still, there is not much time. And we've seen on the last possession, Ainsworth doesn't run a lot of the hurry-up type of offense. Pass across the middle is caught. Nice catch there by Killian. That'll be a 12-yard gain. That was probably one of the best passes we've seen all game from the sophomore quarterback.
If I'm Ainsworth, I stay with that double twins. It spreads the field. It opens up some gaps.
And Peyton Allen, that's probably his best pass of the evening. Look to throw again here on 1st and 10. Pump fakes, throws it, And that'll be, that was almost intercepted there by Lutheran High. Tyler Bates, the senior, was right there. And, boy, that one was just about gift wrapped for him there.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I don't know what more that the offensive line for Ainsworth can do to give him some more time. This Lutheran High team's just too physical.
Twins on both sides for Ainsworth here. And as the clock expires, just a short pass out of the backfield, and that'll take us to halftime here. 29-6, Lutheran High Northeast with the lead here at the break. And it's 29-6, but really, if you're Ainsworth, you could be thinking, boy, this thing could be a heck of a lot worse than 29-6. I mean, there are worse things in this world than this kind of a deficit at the break. I mean, Lutheran High had some chances there in that first and early going into the second quarter where they missed out on some valuable points.
I couldn't agree more. Ainsworth, like we said earlier, I'm from 8-man. I come from a team, unfortunately, that hasn't won a game in 4 years. I mean, I know how Ainsworth feels. So, I mean, in a situation like this where you're down 29-6, yeah, you're losing, but in their case, they have a 2-2 season for the first time in the last decade. This isn't as bad as it could have been. You could be 0-4 right now. So I think they really just need to keep their heads up, play their kind of football, and just keep moving the ball.
And the thing for Lutheran High is they could have a much bigger lead at this point, but it's been their own mistakes that have done them in. You have the muff punt. You had 2 interceptions in the red zone when they were driving, 1 in the end zone, and just about had another. I mean, Lutheran High easily could have a couple more touchdowns here as well. I mean, we could be looking very easily at the 35-point rule to start the second half, but instead, it's a 23-point game at the break.
I think Lutheran High will come out of the second half. Mr. Miller, my old head football coach, he always told me, second half is a new beginning. You play a brand new game. So I think Lutheran High will come out and he will play a brand new game. They will play a brand new game. And I wouldn't be surprised if that 35-point rule comes into play here in the second half.
The thing with Ainsworth that you're going to have to remember is their offense has not scored a point in this game. Their 6 points are from the muff punt that was returned for a touchdown there by Riggin Temple. Outside of that, their offense really hasn't done much. They got stymied on that 2-point conversion attempt, and really ever since this game started, Ainsworth has really struggled to develop that rhythm. They haven't really you haven't really seen what their identity is. Are they the team that throws it 3 straight times? Are they the team that runs the ball, 4 times in a row? And it's been kind of a mud offense almost out of them. And you could say the same thing for Lutheran High. The only thing is they saw that the pass wasn't really clicking for them, so they went back to that running game, and it paid off with that touchdown here before the half. And granted, yes, the touchdown came from the pass, but, boy, they set some stuff up the drive before with the run game, and that's really been the key for Lutheran High, I think, here throughout the first 24 minutes.
The other thing that I want to point out, you say the Ainsworth offense wasn't clicking. When it was clicking, it was all through Furno. The fact that he got hurt right before the half, I think that could be huge. I mean, especially for Lutheran High, taking out the number 1 player, in my opinion, for Ainsworth, could cause some trouble in the second half.
And the other thing for Lutheran High Northeast, we haven't seen their second leading rusher, Philip Kirby, since about the 4th play of the game. He got injured. He's been on the sideline since then, hasn't had his helmet, and he hasn't looked like he's, going into the game. You wonder if they're going to just take another look at him here at halftime and see what's going on with him. If they get him back, that could open some more things up because he's the starting Z back in this kind of wing T setup that Lutheran High uses.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge factor, especially when you lose a star player, especially like him. In my past experiences, when you took your helmet off and you weren't even using it, even near it for the first half, you're not in. I mean, you call it a night and you just worry about taking care of yourself for next week.
On the flip side, though, for Lutheran High, Hunter Spear did get hurt like the second play of the game after a couple of nice runs. Came back out on the same possession, and really he's run like a man possessed most of this game. I mean, you talk about a guy who has taken the team on his shoulder. You could say that for Hunter Spear. And really, for the most part, Aiden Wiedering has had a really nice ball game at quarterback for Lutheran High. I mean, he came into the game averaging, completing 76% of his passes, and really we've seen that kind of a night out of him. That's just the few that he hasn't completed have not looked very good. I mean, you don't throw a couple interceptions in the red zone like he did. But at the same time, he made some nice plays, and he also came in on the blocked punt and returned it for a touchdown. And he had a nice little run for a touchdown here right before the half. Aiden Wiedering really, to me, has impressed here this first half.
I do want to note, though, in 4 games, he has 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. In one game alone, I feel like this is one of his not so good games, because when you throw 2 interceptions early in a game, that really sets the tone for the rest of the night. And I respect how he has come back from 2 turnovers and just taken control of the game.
And that's the thing, it's very hard for a kid to come back from something like that. But holy cow, Wiedering has bounced back like you wouldn't believe from something like that. It could have been so much worse for Lutheran High too. That's the thing that we haven't really mentioned at all yet is, yeah, it's a 29-6 game. It could have been a lot worse for Lutheran High. We could be looking at a 1 or 2 score game going into the break, but instead, and really, you think about it too, good clock management there at the end of the half by Lutheran High Northeast. I mean, they were smart. They used all 3 of their timeouts on defense, got the ball back so they had 50 seconds left, and really knew what they could do because they had about 55 yards to go. It helps when you get the big play by Ryan Brandt to start things off to get you down to the 20, and then just kind of took care of business from there, really.
I like the fact, you say clock management, and I was wrong. I really thought they just kind of run the ball just mediocrely, just get through the half. But, that was a good call. They called their 3 timeouts on defense. They got the ball back. And, normally when you have that hurry-up-ish style offense, you see teams kind of get out of control. You know what I mean? And you didn't really see that with Lutheran High. You saw them composed. You saw them completing a gorgeous pass across the middle, faking the hook and ladder, and then, picking up 20-some plus yards and just finishing it off with a beautiful run for a touchdown. You didn't see them lose their composure. They stayed calm, and the effect of that is another Lutheran High touchdown.
And the thing that we haven't talked much about, we've seen the speed from Lutheran High Northeast. I don't know if some folks watching this will know, but Lutheran High actually had one of the best 4x100 relays in boys track last year. And you have a couple of those kids back on this team. Hunter Spear's name comes to mind, and you haven't seen it a lot yet, but the speed is going to be coming out of Lutheran High Northeast. And boy, I've seen them earlier in the year. When that speed comes, it is a thing of beauty to watch. I mean, it's not out of the question for them to break something long. We haven't seen really any big plays this evening. The big plays have been, the block punts returned for a touchdown. Not a lot of big plays as far as yards are concerned. We've had big plays, don't get me wrong, just nothing as far as a yardage for a big play. I'll bet neither team is above about 200 yards of offense here this evening. Need to get some numbers to clarify something like that, but really neither team has got, tons of yards. Lutheran High has moved the ball beautifully, but they've also had a lot of short fields.
Yeah, they have had they've had a very successful night with the run game, and I think you'll see them stick to that the second half. When you run the ball as good as Lutheran High does, it opens up the pass like you saw late in the second quarter with play actions and slips, slants, screens, stuff like that, and they take advantage of it. Their coach, I applaud him. I really do, because Sucksdorf has done such a great job with this team. They have speed. They have strength. They literally well-rounded. They're a very well-rounded team. Like you said, that speed, it's not just 2 or 3 players. It's linemen. It's backers. It's safeties. Everybody on the team has that first step speed, and 90% of football is that first step speed. You get that first step, you're gone.
And that's the thing with football. A lot of people look at track speed. and they think, oh, you're fast. Well, it's different in football. You need that. You need speed in a couple of steps. You need a fast first step. They don't talk about, yeah, it's great if you have a fast 40-yard dash, but we haven't seen anybody need to run 40 yards yet tonight. I mean, it doesn't matter if somebody can run the 40 in 5 seconds or 4.2. But what you've seen is a lot of those bursts, those fast first steps. That's what makes Hunter, Spear, and Wiedering so tough for Ainsworth to defend, because they have those fast, first steps, those first couple of steps. And that makes such a difference in a game like this, where Lutheran High, this could have easily been lined up as a trip-up game for them. It's the first night of districts. It's homecoming night. There are distractions here for Lutheran High, coming into this game. You just came off this huge 65-point win on the road at Laurel Concord Coleridge. But, boy, they've really, for the most part, taken care of business here throughout the first half. We're less than 5 minutes from kickoff for the second half. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back right after this break. Welcome back to Veterans Memorial Park here in Norfolk. Lutheran High Northeast with a 29-6 lead over Ainsworth here at halftime. I'm Nick Best, joined by Josh Spanger. And Josh, we were talking about this during the break, but Lutheran High Northeast really kind of came out to play this evening, save for a couple of mistakes, which could have been a lot more costly than they really turned out to be.
Yeah, I mean they could have went a lot worse. 2 turnovers. I would much rather have 2 turnovers happen early in the first quarter, so you have time to really fix your problems and get it figured out. But I think Lutheran High did a very good job at overcoming those turnovers and putting points on the board. They're not scared to throw the ball just because of those 2 interceptions. They're still throwing the football perfectly fine. They're running the ball like they normally do. You know, right here, Spear has 565 yards on the year, 8.6 yards per carry, and it shows why their run game is so successful.
Lutheran High is without their second leading rusher in Philip Kirby, and I haven't seen him come out yet here for the second half. So hard to tell kind of in amongst this whole group of Lutheran High players. He was injured about 4 plays into the game, and I haven't seen him come back out here yet for the Eagles. But Aiden Weeder in the quarterback has stepped up big time. Hunter Spear, you mentioned his name here just a little bit ago. He stepped up big time as well. About 2 minutes or so until we get the second half underway. And Lutheran High Northeast really in control here. And they've done it both ways. They've dealt with their ground game early and really often, but their passing game that hasn't really been a slouch either.
You know, it's been very I'm going to say lackadaisical for Ainsworth, I guess. That's the wrong word choice, but I'm on the spot. You put me on the spot, and I can't think of a better word choice, but it's really lulling Ainsworth to sleep, and that's what's making their passing game so successful, you know, especially in that second quarter where they're picking up big chunks of yards, and it's opening up that run game.
And that's the thing. Lutheran High Northeast did pick up quite a few chunks of yards there through the passing game, and it wasn't necessarily, 30, 40, 50-yard chunks of yards, but maybe it was, that 10-yard crossing route or something like that. I mentioned Philip Kirby earlier. He's down there sitting on the bench, still no helmet on his hand. He's got an ice pack on his arm. I'm going to guess he may be done for the evening since they've got him wrapped up with the ice pack on his left elbow.
I would agree. That's a tough break for Lutheran High, especially a big player like that. I hope the best for him. I hope he's okay for next week. Like I said earlier in the show, you just have to, forget about tonight, support your teammates, and start focusing on how you can make yourself ready for next week.
The thing for Lutheran High Northeast is it's kind of a good news, bad news situation. The good news is you're up by 23 points here going into the second half. The bad news is you're without your second leading rusher. But to continue the good news segment, Aiden Wiedering stepping up big time, Hunter Spear stepping up big time. The passing game has clicked at times here, and when it has, Lutheran High Northeast has been flat out tough for Ainsworth to stop.
Yeah, I completely agree. As we've said all night long, the 2 leaders on this team are Spear and Wiedemann, and those 2 work so well off of each other. It's just like you said, it's like watching an old school Husker team, with Scott Frost and players like that. They're really stepping up. They're running the ball great. And when Wiedemann needs to throw the ball, he's taking his time. He's stepping into that pocket. He looks comfortable. He looks smooth, and he's delivering a gorgeous football.
Spear puts the ball on the tee, getting set to kick off this second half. Lutheran High Northeast will be kicking from left to right. Ainsworth has 2 players back to return. Wyatt Killian, number 8, will be on the far side. Number 27, Bronk Temple on the near side. Teed up, and we're up and starting here in the second half. That'll be Temple with the ball. Tries spinning out of a tackler, but there are about 5 Lutheran High Northeast players there to meet him right about the 20-yard line. They'll spot it about the 21 or so, give him a little bit of forward progress to start the second half. And this is about where Ainsworth has started most of their drives, deeper in their own territory. About that 25 and in, it seems like has been about par for the course for them here so far this evening. Peyton Allen, the quarterback for Ainsworth, hands it off straight ahead here to start off the drive. That'll be Jacob Furno. He was injured late in the second quarter. He obviously back, but Lutheran High player is down here at about the 32-yard line here to start things off here in the second half.
Yeah, that looks like Tyler Bates, and with you coming right out of halftime, that makes me wonder if it's not cramps.
Looks like he's trying to walk things off, but he'll come out and take a breather. And Caleb Rath will come in. Rath has contribute a couple nice plays on the offensive end. He'll be the corner on the far side now for Lutheran High.
It looks like Ainsworth wants to spread the ball out a little bit.
Peyton Allen sends it back into motion, hands off, and that'll be another carry for Furno, and he'll get to about the 28 or so. Looking at probably about 3rd down and 2 or 3 here. They're going to call it 3rd down and 2. 2 carries by Furno for 8 yards. That's a back who averages a little over 5 yards a carry. And really the power back for the Bulldogs so far through this first half of the season. Be another tight set here for Ainsworth here on 3rd and 2. Sends it back into motion. Allen will roll out to the far side, throw. He's got a man wide open to the 45 and the 40 to the 35. Big play there by Bronk Temple.
What a gorgeous play.
Ainsworth with probably the biggest play of the night so far right there, and that'll be a 1st down. Great play fake there.
It opened up the play action just like we've been talking about all night long. If they run the ball enough, it's going to open up their play action, and their safeties were not ready for that play action at all.
No, Peyton Allen with just a little short roll out there, but that was all he needed to do. Flex bone set, handoff to Furno on the left side here. Got probably 3 on that carry there.
What I want to know is where this Ainsworth offense has been all the first half.
Well, you saw glimpses of it in the first half, but they finally got the play action to work. If you remember, boy, their passing game had a tough go. Allen had a lot of trouble there in the first half, but boy, came out on fire. Another handoff up the middle. They're just going to power it right at Lutheran High and kind of impose their will a little bit here to start off the second half. That's another nice gain. It'll be another 3rd down and 2 for the Bulldogs coming up. Furno the lone back in the backfield behind Allen. Toss sweep, and that one is bobbled up. Caught up there by Wyatt Killian, but that'll be a big loss. Lutheran High with a whole host of defenders over there to converge. It'll be 3rd down and about 8 here at the 32-yard line for Ainsworth.
That was a good play by the defense from Lutheran High. I mean, they read the pitch, they read the fumble, and they were right on top of it. It wasn't just one person. The whole cavalry was coming.
Well, and that's the thing. Even if Killian gets the handle on that one, he's going to lose some yards on that play regardless. He may not have lost enough to make it a 4th down and 8 like they did here. Looked like a little bit of motion, no flag though. Allen rolls out, throws to, that's another catch. Big play.
Wow, they marked it short. I really thought he was in. They marked it on the 4.
Bronk Temple with another big catch, running that crossing route on the far side. And this time it'll get them down into the 3-yard line. 1st and goal for Ainsworth. A 44-yard gain for Ainsworth right there. That Ainsworth moving the ball better than they have all game here to start the second half. Allen powers it, hands it off to Furno, and he'll get him for the touchdown. Touchdown for Ainsworth.
That was a gorgeous drive by Ainsworth. They came out of the half and just, they look like a whole different team.
Bronk Temple, though, comes through big time for the receiving core for Ainsworth. They haven't had a whole lot to write home about as far as the passing game is concerned, but two huge strikes there from Peyton Allen to Bronk Temple have really changed the momentum of this game. And now it looks like Ainsworth is going to line up for the two-point conversion. 8 minutes, 45 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Allen rolls out to the far side. He's going to take off for the goal line. He does not get in.
Wow, that was really close.
It looked like Peyton Allen kind of tripped up over his own feet and dove and didn't quite make it to the goal line before his knee hit the ground.
That was literally the true meaning of a shoestring tackle.
Very shoestring tackle indeed there, Josh. And it'll be a 29-12 lead for Lutheran High Northeast. And we talked all day about, the passing game for Ainsworth. They struggled mightily in the first half. The thing that sticks to my mind the most is they had a possession where they went 3 and out. All three of them were incompletions, and all three of them weren't even really catchable passes. But boy, some switch flipped with Peyton Allen, because this is not the same kid we saw playing quarterback in the first half for Ainsworth.
No, it wasn't. I mean, he came out this second half and just started throwing the ball like it. I don't even know. I don't know where this kid came from.
And the thing about it is it really shows the life that Ainsworth has now. I mean, you think about you come out of the half, like you mentioned, halftime always means a new beginning for you when you're playing football. And really, Ainsworth is taking full advantage of that. Their offense looked much more in rhythm than they ever did in the first half. The passing game was clicking, and they really had some nice runs to set things up for the passing game as well.
Yeah, when they came out for the second half, I mean, they looked like a whole different team all the way around.
Ainsworth will kick off, and that'll be Hunter Spear returning from about his 22 or so. He spun down at about the 35. Nice tackle for Ainsworth by Kyle Eartham to spin Spear down and limit the damage there. That was already about a 15-yard return there for the Eagles, and really can't cut it down from there.
Yeah, I mean, this defense hopefully can do the same thing the offense did with a whole new life. I mean, they've had a good night so far if you take away some of the bigger plays of the game, and this is a whole different ball game, like we said.
Spear running around end on the far side, and he is cut down for a loss of a couple there, running kind of that jet sweep look there with Wiederin giving the short handoff. Second down and 12 here. 8 minutes, 20 seconds and counting here in the first quarter. Lutheran High Northeast all of a sudden, as they find themselves in a little bit of a dogfight. It's a 2-score game, and looks like an official's timeout here. Looks like they're trying to fix equipment for an Ainsworth player over there at about the 40-yard line.
You know, I got to say, if you're Lutheran High, you've got to be very pleased with the outcome of the crowd tonight. You know, with so much support and stuff, they really fill this place well.
Of course, it's homecoming night. That always helps the crowd. But, yeah, you mentioned nice crowd here at Veterans Memorial Park. Wiederin with the snap takes off, and he's tripped up. Wiederin dives to about the 40, but there's a flag on the play. We'll check out what the flag is. There will be a holding penalty against Lutheran High Northeast. I'll cut back that run, and it'll be second and long, even longer situation than what Lutheran High was already dealing with. They had second and 12 on this first try. They'll mark it 10 yards from the 42, or excuse me, from the 38. So,
you know, Lutheran High is really starting out the same way they started the first quarter. Is lots of penalties, really slow offense. Just, it's dragging right now.
Lutheran High will have the ball at their own 28. It's about a second and 20 situation here for the Eagles. Wiederin in the gun. One back next to him, and it'll be Spear running around the short side. He'll get about 5 or so there. Not a whole lot there for Wiedering to write home about. It'll be about we'll say about 15 here. About a 3rd and 15 situation is not what you want after the opposition had just driven down the field and scored a touchdown, but that's what Lutheran High faces here. 7 minutes and counting in the 3rd quarter. Wiedering the lone back, fakes a handoff, and he runs up the middle, breaks a couple of tackles, but he'll only get to about the 38 or so, which he just got back barely past the original line of scrimmage where this drive started.
Yeah, I'm really kind of surprised by that play call. I really thought that they were going to throw the ball.
Well, and the thing you're probably looking at here is trying to set up something for later in the half as well. But instead, it'll cost him in the short term with Lutheran High lined up to punt after this 3-and-out to start the second half. 6.5 minutes and counting here in the 3rd quarter. High punt, and it'll be fair caught by Killian at about the 31-yard line, where the Bulldogs will take over 1st and 10, and the Bulldogs have a little bit of momentum here, trailing 29-12 here, 6:21 on the clock here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, if you're Ainsworth, you have to find a way to put points on the board on this possession. Really slow the momentum down for Lutheran High and just take over this game.
Peyton Allen steps back in at quarterback. It's been kind of a Jekyll and Hyde performance for him so far. The last drive was definitely Dr. Jekyll, where he really stepped up and made some nice throws. Whistle stopped the first play of this drive, though. First penalty of the second half going against Ainsworth. It'll be a motion penalty. So one possession after Lutheran High shoots themselves in the foot with a couple of penalties. Ainsworth does the same to start off this drive. It'll be 1st and 15 back at their own 26. Peyton Allen hands off, and nothing doing there on that play for Ainsworth. Couldn't get much going. Ty Richardson really had tough sledding there in the backfield, and he comes out just as soon as he went in there.
It's just like we were saying at halftime, the speed of the defense for Lutheran High is remarkable. He was there. I mean, he saw the play develop, and he made sure that he was in the gap to make sure he could cover that.
Allen under center, brings one man into motion, hands off up the middle to Furno again. Ball pops out. Lutheran High with the ball.
Turnovers have taken over this game.
Hunter Spear, who has had a remarkable game at running back, comes through with the fumble recovery. That will give Lutheran High 1st and 10 at the Ainsworth 33-yard line. Short field again for Lutheran High. .538 here in the 3rd quarter. Wiedering, the quarterback, fakes the handoff, and he tries running up the middle again. Nothing doing there. They've run that play about 4 times here in the second half, and all of them really haven't yielded very much. But if you remember, that's also the same play that Wiedering scored a touchdown on.
Yes, absolutely. If I'm Sucksdorf, I think maybe I'm opening up the playbook a little bit for this 3rd quarter just to see what happens, because it seems like Ainsworth is really starting to catch on now, and they're really starting to slow the pace of the offense for Lutheran High. 2nd
and 11, tight set for Lutheran High here. Handoff goes to Caleb Rath, and he kind of shimmies his way across, and he gets slammed down. Nice run by Caleb Rath coming across the formation there. And that'll make it at least a 3rd and manageable, probably about 3rd and 5 here with 4:45 and counting here in the 3rd quarter.
I'll give him this. He can shimmy. He can shimmy and shake. He can do it all.
that was a real nice, nifty little run by Caleb Rath, who's listed as a running back, but we've seen him catch some nice passes too.
Yes.
Weeder, the quarterback in the shotgun, Spear next to him in the backfield, and that's just a straight direct run there by Weeder, and that looked like one of those old quarterback power plays out of the shotgun on a 3rd and 4. Hard to tell from here if he got enough. They're saying he did. 1st down and 10 for Lutheran High Northeast.
Ainsworth needs to find a way to get a stop here on defense so they can stop the momentum of this offense.
1st and 10 from the 23-yard line for Lutheran High. They lead 29-12 here in the 3rd quarter. Weeder, the quarterback, Burner next to him. Spear with the direct snap, and he doesn't get anywhere on that run. Nice pursuit there by Ainsworth on that play to really keep that one from developing. It was designed to be a run to the outside, and it looked like Spear ended up running straight almost to the sideline. There was nowhere for him to go. There was no cutback lane or anything.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's the way it works. There isn't any holes, there's no cutback lanes, there's nothing. You just have to put your head down and get what you can get and go to the next drive.
Weeder with the pass, completes. That looked like Hunter Spear on the catch. Spear comes out of the backfield for a nice little catch in the flats. Turns it into a big gain. Lutheran High Northeast in business down to the 5-yard line. 1st and goal for the Eagles coming up here. 3:19 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Lutheran High players check their wristbands. Weeder steps over to the unbalanced line. Riley Burner with him in the backfield. Fakes the handoff and runs up the middle. That'll be a Lutheran High touchdown. Aiden Weeder with his 2nd rushing touchdown of the game.
I'm not going to lie, he got me on that.
And that was the exact same play I think that they scored on the last touchdown drive. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but they've been running a lot of that where they fake a lot of misdirection, and then Weeder just cuts up the middle and, again, had a real nice lane to run through. 35-12 pending the conversion here. Looks like Lutheran High is going to line up for the 2-pointer here. Officials are stopping play. They're discussing something. Got an Ainsworth player headed towards the sideline, and not quite sure what's going on. Hard to tell from here, but they're going to make a quick substitution, and we're going to get back to action here at Veterans Memorial Park. Lutheran High Northeast with a 35-12 lead. 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, pending the conversion. Initially, Lutheran High Northeast had the tee out there, but I saw it go flying like one of their players had tossed it off to the side that they were going to line up and go for 2, and that's exactly what they're going to do here. And that is Hunter Spear taking the direct snap, and he is stopped short. No good on the 2-point conversion. 35-12, Lutheran High Northeast with the lead. 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. After that 2-point conversion, there's an Ainsworth player down on the field, and he's still down. Got trainers from both teams now, it looks like, looking at him as well as the coach. I did not see what happened as far as if a player had went down during the play or if it was after the play. It was kind of in the same vicinity of where that play just kind of, where all the action was at on that play.
Yeah, there were a lot of people around that vicinity. So, I mean, I'm right there with you. I didn't see what happened or who it was or anything. So, it's just like I said before, you kind of hope that it's just cramps because you didn't get stretched out right after half or something like that.
And that looks like Jacob Nelson, who's walking off for Ainsworth, one of their offensive and defensive linemen. Lutheran High lining up for the kickoff. We got 3 minutes left here in the third quarter. Lutheran High 35, Ainsworth 12 here. It's homecoming night for the Eagles. Good crowd on hand, you mentioned it earlier. And Lutheran High Northeast, it hasn't been perfect. It hasn't been pretty. But so far, a step in the right direction for them as far as progression in the season. Hunter Spears lined up to kick off for Lutheran High, and he sends it away, straight end over end, and that one will bounce into the end zone for a touchback. Real nice kick there by Hunter Spear when you consider they had a couple go out of bounds here earlier in the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the first kick, first great kick that we've seen all night.
And really, when you think about it, both teams, as far as kickoffs, have kind of struggled a little bit.
I agree.
But
what more can you do? I mean, when you're fighting injuries and just sometimes things don't go your way.
Ainsworth ready to get things going here on this drive. After the turnover on their last drive led directly into a Lutheran High touchdown. Peyton Allen with the handoff straight ahead. Big run there. Big run by Jacob Furno for Ainsworth. That's probably one of their better runs of the game. And that could get things started for the Bulldogs here.
I think that will definitely start a fire in Ainsworth's offense, and hopefully they'll take advantage of moving the chains.
And the thing is, that's where they've had the most success running the ball is with Furno up the middle. And you got to think that they're going to start going to that well a little bit more here, especially after seeing how well it's worked here early in the second half. Another handoff. This time it's to Temple. He cuts across on the far side. He breaks a couple tackles down to the 40, inside the 40, just to about the 35. Bronk Temple with a great run. And if you recall that name, he had a couple of real nice catches the last drive for Ainsworth. Ainsworth really moving the ball here early on this drive.
Yeah, they are definitely getting their offense to click. Honestly, I think it's too little too late for their offense to get going. Like I said, as long as this Lutheran High offense is still putting points on the board, it's too little too late.
1st and 10 at the 35 for Ainsworth. It'll be another run up the middle with Furno, and he powers his way for about 5 more. Might be spotted as a gain of 4 there for Furno. But boy, it's taken waves of defenders to stop him. Furno is running with some power here to start this second half. Granted, we're 10 minutes into the third quarter, but this is Ainsworth's third possession already, and Furno has run like this the whole second half. Furno with another power run up the middle. He's going to be stopped before the sticks. I think it'll be about a 3rd and 2 here. And Lutheran High needs to look at what they're doing down the defensive line. They make a substitution, bringing in Josh Lote, 6'1" senior in. And he goes in for Reed Schaefer, a 6'2", 255-pound senior. That's one of Lutheran High's biggest linemen that they just subbed out. Interesting to see what kind of package they come up with here. Tight set here for Ainsworth. Peyton Allen hands off again up the middle to Furno. Big run here inside the 20, but there's a flag down at about the 25. It's in the area of where you would think maybe like a holding penalty would be called. But holding penalty against Ainsworth. That'll take away a big run there by Furno. boy, Ainsworth would have been in business there inside the red zone, down to about the 15-yard line there after that run by Furno, but instead they're going to be marching back 10 paces, and they're going to have to try third down again.
Yeah, that's got to hurt, especially when your offense is clicking so well. I'm really curious as to why Ainsworth is so successful running it up the middle because, like we've said all game long, Lutheran High is filling that box with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys. So I'm really curious to see how they're getting that to work.
Peyton Allen with the rollout throws high and wide of, I believe it was Furno who was the receiver on that play, but under heavy pressure that time, Lutheran High really did a good job of forcing the issue there for Peyton Allen, and it'll be fourth down and about 8 here.
Out of all the times that Peyton Allen has thrown the football, I don't think I've seen him actually set his feet all night long. That's 90% of the reason why he can't deliver a very good ball.
Allen steps back to throw. A little bit happy feet there, dances around, rolls out, and he's going to run, and he breaks a couple of tackles. He got close to the first down. Hard to tell from here if he got it. I think he's going to be spotted just a little bit short. It looked like Allen was going to be stopped behind the line, but he broke through a couple of tackles.
To say the least, that was a great effort.
Great effort by Peyton. Now, I think he's going to come up a little bit short here. They're going to say he is short of the sticks. 1st and 10 for Lutheran High Northeast. Really defensively coming through in the clutch there, but boy, helped out by that holding penalty.
Yeah, no kidding. That was a gorgeous run by Allen. Wow. I mean, breaking not only one tackle, but 2 and trying for the sticks. That was awesome.
And the thing about that is it didn't need to come to that because Furno had that run down inside to about the 15 or so, but they were called for holding on that play. Instead, Lutheran High lines up. It'll be Weeder in the quarterback, and that looks like it'll be looks like a fumble on the play. Lutheran High signals they've got the ball back, though. A little bit of misdirection there, and hard to tell from a distance, but I think that was Justice Nadella, 5'5" senior, who was on the carry there. Instead, it'll be Lutheran High's ball again. Weeder in with the direct snap. He surges ahead. It'll be another first down for the Eagles.
One thing that I'm noticing, especially late in the third quarter, 13 seconds left in the third quarter, is Ainsworth line. Watch them on this next play. They're so slow. We were talking earlier about that first step. They're so slow with that first step. It looks like they're just standing straight up and they're getting rocked back on their heels. That's giving up 5, 6, 7 yards of carry, and that's why Lutheran High is moving the football so easily.
And that will take us to the end of the third quarter. Lutheran High Northeast 35, Ainsworth 12, headed to the fourth quarter of play here at Veterans Memorial Park in Norfolk. Lutheran High Northeast really putting together a solid game. You can't say it's a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination, but Ainsworth kind of woke up to life there with a really nice touchdown drive to start things off here in the second half, but really since then, Lutheran High's defense stepped up big time on that last drive because I tell you, Ainsworth is really moving the ball here. They found something with sending Furno up the middle constantly.
Yeah, and it's been working for them. I mean, why go away from something that's working?
And the thing is, they run Furno up the middle, and then they're able to run that play action like you've talked about before on the webcast. You send Peyton Allen on that rollout. He hasn't, set his feet and just thrown from the pocket very much, but I think he looks like he's more comfortable rolling out and throwing on the run right now. And you play to your strengths, and, he had a couple of really nice passes there in the third quarter. And, yeah, Bronk Temple's had a nice quarter, caught those 2 long passes and really kept Ainsworth in this game.
Yeah, if I'm Ainsworth, I honestly, I was thinking this the first half, and I'm glad that you said this. He doesn't like to stay in the pocket. So if I'm Ainsworth, why not try a read option or a load option type of offense? I mean, I just try it for a week, see if it works, see if something can click out of that offense.
First play of the fourth quarter, and Weeder with another quarterback power run up the middle. That'll take the Eagles across midfield already. They're going to spot it right on the end at midfield here at Veterans Memorial Park here in Norfolk. And Lutheran High Northeast, their offense is looking like they're in business here early in the fourth quarter. Players check their wristbands. Wiederin is back there and Hunter Spire takes it on the direct snap this time, and he will get close to the sticks. Hard to tell right now if they're going to say it's a first down. They're going to send the chains first down Lutheran High on that nice little run there by Hunter Spire. Lutheran High probably hoping to run a little bit of clock here at the same time is trying to mount a long drive here. They're up 35-12 here with 11 minutes left, and they've been able to run the ball. They've been able to run that clock and grind it down.
All night long, I mean, they've been very successful running the clock. And when they needed to, they're not afraid to throw the football. We found out early in the game they gave up 2 interceptions. And as we said, that didn't really affect their play at all. They just kind of shrugged it off and kept playing their own game.
Lutheran High players checking the wristbands. Spear in the backfield. He takes the direct snap and powers it forward, but he is not going to get anything there. Ainsworth with a big surge there on that defensive line here with 10 minutes to go in the game. It'll be third down in a bunch here. Probably 7 is what they're going to call it. Third down and 7 from the 43-yard line. You get the feeling this is going to be a situation where they might try one of those quarterback power runs with Weeder in again. Maybe something like that. Although I'm thinking maybe this would be the time for either a play action pass or send somebody across on that jet sweep play.
Yep, and here it is again.
Instead, Weeder fakes and throws it. Nice catch! Oh, he drops it! Spoke too soon for a second. Looked like Andy Zessin was going to haul it in, but instead falls off the fingertips, and instead it'll be fourth down.
I can guarantee that he wants that one back.
Oh, yes. Weeder with a nice throw there, and really Zessin should have had that one. That one was in the bread basket, but instead it's fourth down and 7. And you got to think Lutheran High is going to punt it away here with 9:32 left.
I got to give Wiederman some credit because he put that ball where only his guy could get it, and a lot of high school quarterbacks just can't do that. He put that right on the money.
And that looks like was trying for the corner punt. It might be down right about the 20 or so. Yep, they're going to say the punt went out of bounds right at the 20. So not the greatest punt in the world, but still it'll give Ainsworth the long field to work with, having to start at their own 20.
If I'm Ainsworth, you got 9.5 minutes left in this game. You have to start throwing the football. You don't get a choice anymore. You had a choice early in the game, and your run game just hasn't been working. You have to start throwing the football. Yeah, your last drive, the run game was working just fine, but 9.5 minutes just isn't enough for you to run the football.
Tight set for Ainsworth to start this drive. Handoff up the middle, and probably a gain of about 4 there. Furno takes advantage of the lineman trying to push the pile there and gets about 4 there for Ainsworth. It'll be second down and 6. The thing is, the run game up the middle has been working for Ainsworth here in the second half. The only problem is you're down 23 points right now. That's not conducive to running the football up the middle. Another tight set for Ainsworth. Line up, and there is Sanferno up the middle again, and spins his way, powers through for another Ainsworth first down. And Lutheran High Northeast, you can tell this is starting to take a physical toll on them. 8-yard run for Furno there will give Ainsworth the first down. Lutheran High player is down on the field. 8:47 on the clock here. 35-12, Lutheran High with the lead. And Lutheran High has been in control most of the game. They've led throughout, but at the same time, it hasn't been a smooth game for Lutheran High. They've had kind of their bumps in the road and kind of their sputters and different things. They've had mistakes, but at the same time, I think this speaks to how talented Lutheran High is when you're able to you made some mistakes, but hey, you're still up 35-12 here with a little over 8.5 left.
I agree 110%, but you got to give Ainsworth some credit here. They're down, like you said, 35-12 here in the fourth quarter, but they're not giving up.
Sweet play with Killian down the near sideline, and he's going to have close to another first down here for Ainsworth. Wyatt Killian coming through with the big run there, and he kind of staggers as he gets up. Ainsworth is going to leave as much as they can out on that field turf down here in Norfolk. It'll be a second down and probably about the length of a football for Ainsworth here. 8:10 left in the game and counting. Wide set this time for Ainsworth. Peyton Allen will be under center, but he's got two sets of twins, one on each side. Sending one receiver off to the side, and that'll be a little swing pass here. He'll have the first down and a little bit more, not quite out to the 45 for Ainsworth. Nice little swing pass there by Peyton Allen will give Ainsworth the first down at about the 44-yard line. 7:51 and counting. Bulldogs 1st and 10. They got a chance to cross midfield again. That would be the third drive of this half that they've crossed midfield against Lutheran High. Power run that time with Furno, and he gets Ainsworth another first down inside the 40-yard line. Big run there by Furno.
It's just like you said, he's running like a man possessed. I just don't know where he was at this first half.
And that's the thing, and it makes you wonder what the game plan was in the first half for Ainsworth, because Furno has run tough here in the second half. And there have been gaping holes that offensive line has worked. Tight set for Ainsworth here. First down and 10 inside the 40. Roll out for Peyton Allen, and he throws deep. He's got a man, and it is incomplete.
Close. That was a good ball.
Bronx Temple can't quite get there for Ainsworth. Great read there on the play there for Peyton Allen. Is really, hard to say the improvement from first half to second half, but boy, he has looked like a different quarterback. And they need to reel that in by maybe a yard or two.
Yeah.
If you think about it, that's not exactly the easiest throw when you're trying to throw to a corner route like that.
And you're throwing on the run.
Exactly. Allen sends a man in motion, got twins to the near side. Throws it to Killian, but he is stonewalled immediately. Riley Berner with a great tackle there for Lutheran High. And Killian is just a little slow to get up after that one. 3rd and 10 here for Ainsworth, just inside the Lutheran High 40. And we're within 7 minutes left. About 6:45 and counting here at Veterans Memorial Park. Lutheran High Northeast leads 35-12 here. Tight set, Temple the only wide receiver for Ainsworth. Peyton Allen with another overthrow. That looks more like what Peyton Allen looked like in the first half. He hasn't done many overthrows, but that time he set his feet and really just kind of let one go really too far.
Yeah, he actually went through his progression. He looked at his first receiver, checked down. He looked at his second receiver, Didn't find anything. He still had time. He felt that he had pressure and then just kind of put it in the vicinity of where his third receiver was.
And the thing is, we've talked a lot about Peyton Allen, but the important thing to remember, he's only a sophomore. He will get better over time.
Absolutely.
So Allen rolls out to the and Mrs. Kovar, the receiver, and it'll be fourth down again. Another incompletion there. That's 3 straight incompletions there for Peyton Allen. And, you know, Lutheran High is, and that was actually, with 6:21 left, Lutheran High will have the ball again. And really, Eagles are going to be in great field position yet again. Lutheran High, it seems like all night, have started drives in very favorable field position. Just haven't always been able to take advantage of it.
Definitely. I mean, the deepest that they've been is like, what, their own 20? And it's just like you're looking at the 20, they're at the 30, and then next thing you know, they're at the 35 and the 40. They haven't had bad field position all night long, and I really think that has played a big part in their 35-12 lead right now.
Motion penalty there on Lutheran High to start this drive. Instead, they'll be dealing with the 1st and 15, and now an official is blowing things dead. Timeout Ainsworth, 6:19 left. Lutheran High with the ball in a 35-12 lead. Lutheran High comes into the game with a 3-1 record, and when you see the scores and you realize that they got beat 41-6 at Aquinas, it just begs you to ask a question, how good Aquinas is when you've seen what Lutheran High has been able to do tonight.
Yeah, oh man. I was thinking that actually during this third quarter, I was thinking, you know, when they lose by that much to a team of this caliber, wow, I would hate to see what the state playoffs would look like.
I actually saw Aquinas opening week when they played at Hartington Cedar Catholic, which was actually a rematch from the state championship game, and if my memory serves me correctly, Aquinas scored over 50 points, and granted, Arlington Cedar Catholic is rebuilding a little bit, and that's a team Lutheran High will see later this year, but Aquinas, they looked like they had been playing football for a month. They looked fantastic that night. Lutheran High Northeast to get things started off here. 1st and 15 from their own 34-yard line. 6:19 to go. Hunter Spear around the far side, cuts up field to the 45, to the 50, makes another man miss at the 40, to the 30, down to the 20-yard line. Great run there by Hunter Spear.
Once he got into the secondary, it's just like we said all night long. He gets into the secondary, it's off to the races. Right there, you just saw a prime example.
And the thing is, we haven't seen Lutheran High been able to break one like that.
Right.
And there you saw the speed that we've been talking about with Lutheran High. You get Spear into the open field, he can do some special things with the football in his hands. Lutheran High all of a sudden in business after that big run. 1st and 10 at the 18, man in motion, and that's Caleb Rath at the carry, and he is stonewalled. Big tackle there by Peyton Allen.
And the flag comes out.
The flag comes down.
I think this will be targeting. I mean, that was really high.
That was a very high hit there by Peyton Allen, and that would be a very valuable person for Ainsworth. He's their starting quarterback. And they are going to wave off the flag. They're going to say that the hit was okay. Some people will say that hit may have been too high. Some people will say, no, that's just right. That's just football. It's probably one of those iffy calls. So they're going to pick up the flag for now. They decide it was not, an unnecessary hit there by Peyton Allen. Really kind of a break there for Ainsworth if you think about it. You don't want to lose somebody like that. Wiederin takes a snap and powers upfield. He'll get to about the 15 or so. It'll be 3rd down and about 6 or 7 here for the Eagles here. 5.5 minutes and counting here in the 4th quarter.
Back to the whole tackling scenario, especially in the society we live in now, people are that's a tough conversation for people because you have people getting concussions, and you know, people that just don't get to play as long anymore because of hits like those.
Yep.
And so it's a very overwhelming subject, to say the least. And there's two people in this world. There's either those ones that are, no, you can't have any hits like those, or you have those people that are, yeah, just let it go. So it's hard to find a happy medium in a conversation like that.
It is, especially when when you have two former football players talking. Lutheran High takes a timeout here. 5 minutes, 2 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Eagles will be staring at 3rd and 6 here. But yes, it's a tough conversation for people to have, especially when you think about some of the stories on the national landscape. You know, Chris Borland retiring after a stellar rookie season. You think about, you know, the concussion studies that have come out and things like that. People are doing all they can to make the game safer, but in the end, it's still hitting, it's still blocking, it's still tackling. That's what the game still comes down to.
I think it's funny, and it didn't hit me until college. Like, people take football, America's pastime to say the least, you know. Especially here in Nebraska, people take football very seriously. And just recently, people will complain of injuries, you know, knee injuries. That's a big injury in football. I tore my MCL my senior year, played one game, you know, concussions. You know, it's just all of a sudden everybody's freaking out because you get one injury and nobody wants to play anymore. And I find that shocking.
Wiederin with the power carry there up the middle. He'll get close to the first down. They're going to say he's got enough to move the chains. Wiederin gives the Eagles another first down to about the 8-yard line. Big run there. They're finally moving the chains across. Less than 5 minutes to go in the game. Lutheran High looking for the final nail in this one. Wiederin, the third leading rusher on the season for Lutheran High, has really come through as a number 2 back, even though he's a quarterback. And there's Caleb Rath on the carry. He'll get down inside the 5. Another little end-around type of play there for Lutheran High. Within 4:40 of this game, and Lutheran High really knocking on the door here. It'll be 2nd down and goal from the 4-yard line is where they'll spot it after Rath's run. Tight set here for Lutheran High. Wiederin back in the gun. And he's going to run it, power it right through. And that'll be another touchdown. Wiederin with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the game. He has really stepped up for the Lutheran High ground game. And that should put this one to rest.
That really makes up for his 2 turnovers early in the game. 3 rushing touchdowns. You couldn't ask for anything more.
Not a whole lot of places do you hear a quarterback rushing for 3 touchdowns. Well, okay, maybe in Nebraska there are quite a few places where you hear that. But Lutheran High with a great night from Aiden Wiederin on the ground. And they're lined up to kick the extra point, up 41-12 with 4:11 left in this game. Wiederin looks for the snap, Spear with the kick, and it is up and through. Hunter Spear is perfect on his point after kicks tonight. 42-12, Lutheran High Northeast with the lead over Ainsworth on homecoming night. It's a happy homecoming for Lutheran High this evening.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more than a 42-point lead on homecoming. It's one of those can't wait for Monday to brag about it type of things.
What do you mean waiting until Monday night? They've got the homecoming dance tomorrow night. I'm sure this game will come up more than once in their discussions that night.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
But at any rate, Lutheran High has not played, you know, the greatest game by any stretch of the imagination. But boy, when they have been on, they have been very tough for Ainsworth to stop. And it's been mostly because of the ground game.
Yeah, you know, I couldn't agree more. I do think there are some things that Sucksdorf will have to work on, especially in the film room. It comes down to little things, you know, just you fix those little things, and this team is very close to flawless.
You make the right reads on some of the pass plays. You make some of the, you don't miss some of your assignments on defense. I mean, really, Lutheran High has played well for the most part tonight. And that's not to say that Ainsworth hasn't really either. I mean, Ainsworth this second half has looked tremendous rushing the ball.
Yeah.
It just makes you wonder where that was at when they were losing, I believe it was 25-6 in the first half.
Yeah, if they would have played like that the first quarter when it was 8-6, I really think we would see a completely different game. But the other thing that I want to point out with that, they don't have the roster that Lutheran High has. They don't have the depth. So maybe that could have played into an effect.
Twins on both sides for Ainsworth to start this drive. Peyton Allen, the lone back, and hands it off up the middle. That'll be another power run there for Furno, and you wonder what Ainsworth is going to try to do here. Granted, the running game like that, the runs up the middle with Furno, is what's worked best for them. The only problem is it's not conducive in this type of a situation where you're down 30 with 3.5 minutes to go, but at the same time, at this point, you're more than anything just working on things for next week's game. So Ainsworth sticking to their offense, powering Furno up the middle. That will be another first down. Furno gives them a first down out to the 37.
I think at this point in the game, Ainsworth understands that they got the fork stuck in them. They're done. They just want to run the clock out and take their trip home.
And the thing is, it's going to be a long trip home. I don't know if you've driven that trip to Ainsworth. I haven't either, but I've been out to Bassett, which is about 20 miles away, and that is going to be a long road trip for them back.
It's brutal.
And the thing is, those trips seem even longer after you've gotten beat. I know you can probably speak to that from your own experience in high school. I can as well.
Awful. We our freshman year, we actually went to state, and we lost in the first round. I mean, just got handed to. We lost by like 30-something points. We drove 4.5 hours to the state playoffs the first round, and we ended up losing. That ride home was awful.
Penalty stops the development on this play. 2:38 left to go here at Veterans Memorial Park. Lutheran High Northeast up 42-12. And that'll be a motion penalty against Ainsworth. Second and about 16 here from their own 32-yard line. So Ainsworth still got a long field to go here to try to get a first down. Peyton Allen's behind center. Two sets of Twins moves one receiver over. And another carry by Furno up the middle. You just watch this. I think they're almost content to just give it to Furno and let whatever happens, whether it means they end up having to punt here in a play.
The thing that I'm really thinking about, and hopefully you can answer this, is it just lack of play, or do you think it's lack of coaching?
It's hard to say at this point, and I think honestly at this point it doesn't really matter. Peyton Allen whirls around in wrong tempo there with the carry for Ainsworth, and he's run out of bounds. Lutheran High theoretically saves a timeout there, but it'll be 4th and about 7 here for Ainsworth. Probably a punting situation here with 1:43 to go in the ball game. Ainsworth has 2 touchdowns this evening. The first one was off a muff punt here to start things off for them. That made it an 8-6 game, but they missed a 2-point conversion. Their only other touchdown came on the first drive of the second half, and that made it a 25-12 game. And at that point, you were thinking, boy, this sucker is still a ball game. And Killian takes it. He's going to run for it, and he is going to get the first down. And then some. He cuts across field to the 35, the 30, the 25, 20. Breaks the tackler. Wrestled down at the 10-yard line, but there is a flag all the way over here An illegal formation penalty against Ainsworth. That will bring it all the way back. Great run by Killian. That was about a 50-yard run there by Killian, all the way down inside the 10 before he was finally wrestled down. But it's going to be all for naught. An illegal formation penalty will cost Ainsworth big time. Boy, nobody, I think, in this building was expecting Killian to just keep running on what was what looked almost like a rugby-style punt there, and he just said, you know what, I'm just going to keep going.
He's done that all night long. We've seen that, rugby-style-ish punt, and that time it really paid off for him if it wouldn't have been a penalty. So I really wonder if that's something that they draw up and practice every week, or I've never seen anything quite like that.
I seem to remember Alex Henry doing that a few years ago for Nebraska once. However, at this level, you don't see very many players, if they do the rugby-style punt, to actually take off. And if they do, usually it gets stopped short. There'll be a timeout called by Ainsworth here with a minute 27 to go. Instead of Ainsworth having the ball inside about the Lutheran High 10, it'll be 4th and 13 from their own 35-yard line here when teams get back to play here. Really, a minute 27 until Lutheran High can celebrate its 4th win of the year. And granted, it wasn't the most convincing win, but as everybody will tell you, a win is still a win. I have 42-12. If this score holds, Ainsworth actually did good by holding Lutheran High under what they were averaging in their wins for the year. And, I mean, really, Lutheran High is an explosive team, but we haven't really seen the explosiveness. There was that one run by Hunter Spear, but outside of that, you haven't seen a whole lot of explosion out of Lutheran High. It's been a lot of very methodical drives here this evening.
Yeah, but, if you're Ainsworth, you can't hang your head on this performance because they've really had a decent night running the ball, and they've had glimpses of being a great team. You just can't hang your head on a performance like this against such a great team like Lutheran High.
And Lutheran High will have the ball in great field position once again. That's something that's been kind of a narrative throughout the whole evening, is Lutheran High having really good field position, and they'll have it again here at about the 39-yard line to start what presumably will be the final drive of the game with a minute 20 left. And you got to think that Lutheran High is going to start bringing in some different players, and this is a situation where you try to get a few different kids a couple of carries.
Yep, exactly. As Mr. Miller always told me, my old high school coach, he always said, you guys are only as good as your weakest link, and these are prime examples of getting some of those second, third string guys some reps.
Nice run, cuts across to the 50, to the 40, the 30. Finally wrestled down. Logan Bussey with a nice carry there. He came into the game with 55 yards rushing on the season. And shoot, he almost doubled that right there. Probably a gain of about, I would say, 35 yards there on that run there by Logan Bussey. That's not something you see every day out of the 5'8", 135-pound junior. Lutheran High all of a sudden in business, and Bussey takes it again, direct snap, and that time he'll get wrestled down to the ground here at about the 23-yard line. Within 1 minute of this game going final, Lutheran High with a 42-12 lead here over Ainsworth. Got to imagine the Eagles are going to try to milk this clock a little bit, and they might only have to run about one more play here. Players look at their wristbands. I'm a little surprised they wouldn't just say let's just take a knee here and get this thing over with. Bussey will take another direct snap, and he is wrestled down at about the 20-yard line, and the whistle sounds, and Lutheran High should not have to run another play. There's 18 seconds left and counting. Clock is draining itself inside of 10 seconds now. 5 seconds. 2, 1, and that's a final. Lutheran High Northeast 42, Ainsworth 12. Lutheran High Northeast puts together its 4th win of the season. First time in 3 weeks they've been here at Veterans Memorial Park, and they come through with a 42-12 win over Ainsworth. Josh, your final thoughts on the evening?
It's just like I said earlier. I don't think Ainsworth should hang their head on this performance. They played a very good Lutheran High football team. They just got outpowered and outplayed tonight. I really wouldn't hang my head on that performance. I would be very proud of that performance. 42-12, that's nothing to be upset about. Lutheran High is just a very spit and shine good team.
Lutheran High Northeast really comes through on the ground tonight. Aiden Weeder, the quarterback, rushes for 3 touchdowns as Lutheran High Northeast comes through with a 42-12 win. For Josh Spanger, Stephen Bebb, and Isaiah May, I'm Nick Benish saying so long. Good night from Veterans Memorial Park in Norfolk.